Don't be stupid, boys. Turn off Clyde, support your side.
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, I'm still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams in your mind anyway.
The big reception from the Celtic and the Hibs fans. Green and white all around Hampden.
Stevens in trouble, there's Joe Miller! 4 minutes from half-time. Celebrations begin on the Celtic bench.
Martin misread the bounce. Marked by Boyle, only as far as Josh McKinley. Hoydon going in. Celtic have scored. And Van Hoydon, who makes a habit of getting the goals on the big occasion, has done it again here to Celtic delight.
He is again though. Twisting away from Larson this time. Back goes Jack. Gets his pass away. Chance for McNamara. Jackie McNamara. Here's Celtic the leads. Thompson, driven pass towards Sutton. Sets up McNamara. Larson! Brilliant! Henrik Larsson's 52nd goal of the season. Celtic on their way to the treble. Yellow card for Gary Smith and a chance for Celtic to make it 3. Larsson. 2 for Larsson, 3 for Celtic. 10 minutes left, and the treble is theirs. Celtic getting away. Larsson's on his own. He's through. As Lamont stumbles. Larsson squares the game. His final competitive match in a Celtic shirt. And that is his 241st career goal. To Lennon. Sutton. And Thompson. Larsson, the receiver, turning away from Lamont. He's done it again. Absolutely incredible. Larsson's leaving party may now be complete. 2 for him. It's 2-1 Celtic. Agat's cross came off the head of Lee Bullen. Didn't know much about it. Wallace squares it. Stilian Petrov for 3-1. That's the goal which ensures the Scottish Cup is going to be in Celtic hands.
Ball well onto Doumbé. Comes Nakamura. Neatly through. Doumbé coming in. That's great onto Beattie. Beattie. Little shuffle of feet came off. Wilson. The ball's come across and in. It's been snapped
appearance for Celtic. His first appearance in the Scottish Cup has scored the goal that may well win Celtic the Tennant Scottish Cup.
He's going for it himself. Oh, what a goal from Keeson Young! A stunner in the National Stadium. It's first blood Celtic. There's a right good chance here for Celtic to kill it off. But it's Mulgrew, and how about that for a free kick? What a finish from Charlie Mulgrew. The cherry on the cake. The cup's going back to Parkhead. I can tell you're watching on. Very proud just now as Scott Brown receives the Scottish Cup for 2011.
Good day, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. You're listening to the Half the World Away Celtic podcast from Hail Hail Media. My name is Kevin O'Neill. I'm based in Mandurah, Western Australia, originally from Coatbridge, or as they say in French, Côte du Brig. And all the way over, joining me tonight, all the way over the other side of the continent, in Melbourne, Victoria, is my good friend and comrade, Mr. Patrick Close, originally from Airdrie, or as they say in French, Air de Rie. G'day, Pat.
I thought you were going to say something a bit more rude there, Kevin. Like shit the
thinking
hole or something like that.
I was thinking about it, but I thought better of it, mate. How are you, Pat?
I'm fine and dandy, Kevin.
That's good.
Yeah, it's been a good week, pretty exciting. Build up to the Cup final weekend and all that, so...
Yes,
we're here at last. At last it's Friday, so it's good.
I have to say, Pat, I had the chance to listen to the little intro you prepared for the show this week, but I only heard it about half an hour before we came on live. And I have to say, mate, you have done us proud. Very, very proud. Very, very proud, as Alec Ferguson would say. No, I hope you all enjoyed it, folks, because... It was good to hear some of the commentary from some of those goals of Scottish Cup finals gone by, and I must admit I'm a big fan of the Stone Roses anyway, so the little bit of the instrumental to I Am the Resurrection was a nice little accompaniment, I thought. I know you're a big Stone Roses fan yourself as well, Pat, aren't you?
Yeah, saw them in Melbourne a couple of months ago. They were absolutely magnificent, so
Oh,
I missed out those all those years ago in Glasgow Green, which I was really, really naffed off about because I didn't have any money. Yep, so it was kind of living my youth, I guess, at the Festival Hall in Melbourne a couple of months ago. But yeah, it's like one of my favourite Stone Roses songs. So yeah, like in truth, it was pretty. I had the sort of idea of doing the little sort of compilation, sort of during the week, and I thought, all right, I better get onto this and start it. But trying to get little bits of audio on all the sort of recent Scottish Cup finals. But if anybody can actually, here's a little quiz for the night, Kev. Here's a little quiz. There's one game where I couldn't find any audio for. So if anybody picked it up, there's no chance in hell anyone's going to actually remember what was in it. But there was one game I couldn't find the audio for. So if anyone's smart enough and heard the start of it, wait a minute, there's probably only about 3 people listening, so probably not.
And two of them are us. And my little dog that's out in the other room there.
My cousins. So yes, it's a sad day. It's just like us talking on the phone. We should just cut the losses and phone each other.
No, that's the best thing about it. But see, when you say there's one game missing, there's obviously thousands of games missing. When you say one game missing, one in recent times. Going back, how far do you think?
Oh well, it started
Cup final.
Yeah, but it started with the 19... What did I do, the 1981? I don't think I did I?
Oh, I don't think that was on there.
No, I don't think I did.
It was after that, but it was kind of late 80s maybe.
Yeah, it was the 1989. It was the Joe Miller one. I think that was the first one I did.
Right, okay.
So anything from then on.
Between then and now, there was one cup final where we were in that's missing, is that right?
That's right.
Was it a cup final we won?
I didn't do any of them that we lost. There wasn't a chance in hell I was going to back and look at the.
Well done.
Yeah, it was Lovely Plants. Was that the Lovely Plants game? I've just blocked that from my memory. It's the one with the Huns and the last minute and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, yep. I was there, unfortunately. But yeah, no, quite right. This is all about celebrating Celtic winning Scottish Cups, not ones that we lose out on. So, yeah, if anybody does know the one that was missing, tweet us in. Now, again, this is the time to mention, I suppose, the best way to interact with us tonight if you are listening in live, all two of you. But you can tweet us as normal. The Twitter handle is @halftheworld88. So you tweet us in with any questions you've got or any little comments you've got throughout the show. Or if you're brave enough, you can Skype us as well. And I'll try this again, Pat, see if I get it right. The Skype name is exactly the same. It's halftheworld88. Is that correct?
Good stuff.
Jeez.
We're on fire.
Thank God.
I'm just thinking, you are the Jim Delahunt of this organisation, I have to say.
I'm an absolute Jim Delahunt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I've been called worse. I didn't realise the rhyming slang.
I didn't mean it that way. Hey, does that mean I'm Derek Johnson?
I thought you did.
Does that mean I'm Derek Johnson though? Jesus.
Big fat Derek Johnson.
Yeah. Well.
No, don't put yourself down like that, Patrick.
I've got the big
but
fat
anyway,
bit,
yes. Anyway. If you are listening to this dribble, give us a tweet or give us a Skype and join in, and we can have a bit of a blether. We'll mostly, I guess, tonight be talking about or looking forward to the Scottish Cup final, but a little bit more about that later, and we'll maybe have a little bit.
Let's get straight into it, Kev. Straight into it. Martin Cassidy has got the answer already. Well done, Martin boy. That is magnificent. I didn't think anybody would get that. So somebody out there is actually listening. It's good.
Good on you, Martin.
So Martin Cassidy, who's Sting_Nimrod on Twitter. The answer. Should I give the answer?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it was the Dundee United final when Alan Thompson scored. So if anybody's got that in any video or anything like that, or any on a recorder or something, stick it on YouTube because it is nowhere. It was nowhere to be found.
Get a number of hits. What year was that then? I'm trying to think. I can't think the goal.
They went. It's basically I was going to say left peg, but it wouldn't be hard with Alan Thompson. 2005. I'm just looking at my little. I had to look at my little sheet here, but 2005. Sort of to if the camera was looking at the park's the left hand side, so good goal and all that sort of stuff. But there is just nothing. I couldn't find any on the Celtic TV channel. I don't have. I went through all my collection of stuff. Could not find it anywhere. So I don't know whether it was on even on cable TV or something like over here. No idea. But yes, anybody has it, then you might do some Celtic fans a favour and stick it up there. So 2005 Scottish Cup final, Dundee United. Even just the goal. I saw the goal somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but there was no audio to go with it. It was just just a picture, pretty much. So, but yes, well done, Tom.
Have we got a prize for Martin for getting it right? Or is it just
what do you reckon?
Just the joy of being the person that got it right. Well done, though, Martin. It's a gold medal, virtual gold medal for being the first one to tweet in and getting it right. Anyway, good on you. Right, so we'll talk a little bit more about Scottish Cups from the past and looking forward to Sunday's Scottish Cup final against Hibernian, and we'll do that a little bit later. But first of all, and I know sometimes I don't like doing this all the time because usually when we come on the Friday night or Friday back home, it's midday-ish, but nearly a full week's passed since our last game. But because I enjoyed the game so much last week, I want to have a little chat about it, Pat, if that's okay. So the Dundee United game, last game of the season, it could have been, going out of the league season with a bit of a whimper, and we had a bit of a chat on last week's show as well about how it was going to go. Would they put out a fairly strong team? Would they rest players with one eye on the final and all that kind of stuff? But I think any fears we did have were pretty much allayed by the performance and the result, to be honest. A comprehensive 4-0 victory. First of all, did you see it, Pat, and what were your thoughts in the game?
I did. It was, again, trusty old Celtic TV, but I'm going to have a whinge here at Celtic TV again. The quality was just absolutely flipping dreadful. I don't know what they're up to. There's different levels of stream. I was on, the only one I could get to work was the low quality one, which you can barely even watch on a laptop. It was just shocking. Whenever I went to the high quality one, it was buffering all the time. Checked my internet connection. I've got cable here, and it's I've got like 100 meg download and all that sort of stuff. So the connection is not a problem. I did that during the game and stuff like that. But yeah, eventually I got a reasonable. There's some alternative stream that they have, and it was just frustrating. It was kind of spoiling the coverage a little bit. 'Cause you want to watch it in reasonable quality, and it would just buffer every 15 seconds, 20 seconds or so. And I thought,
especially if you're paying good money for that as well, Pat. That's the thing. And and I'll be honest, I think a lot more people, especially a lot more people outside the UK and Ireland, would subscribe to Celtic TV if they were guaranteed decent quality. I myself probably would, but I know from listening to yourself and others that the quality's just not there. So I'm quite happy to try to pick up any dodgy stream that I can find on the interweb to watch it. And by the sounds of things, what I saw was probably as good as what you were watching anyway.
Yeah, well, I think you were watching Celtic TV. I saw some of your tweets about the name popping up and stuff like that, but my name kept popping up like every 5 minutes. My name would appear on the screen, my username.
Right.
And that was
and that's obviously Celtic TV's way of combating the people that are trying to broadcast it on your whether it's your first rows or whatever it might be. Then that's obviously the way they're trying to do it. So, I mean,
here's a tip for Celtic TV. Then why not focus on the actual quality of the broadcast you're putting out, and less on trying to catch people streaming the shit quality streams that you were putting out there. Sorry, but it was ridiculous. And the weird thing is, I got to the point of saying, like, do you email these people? Because I've got like a web help thing, and like, to be fair, they're pretty quick. Yeah. But you get the same sort of crap, and as you know, I work in IT, and I get the same. I run DX Diag and all that sort of nonsense. Yeah. Check this, check that. Turn off your antivirus and all that sort of crap. So done all that. Yeah, like I'm not flipping stupid. The laptop's well capable of doing stuff. So but yeah, it's annoying. It's just but it's one of those things. I want to support the club, and I do. So I'd rather pay my money that way than. Yeah. I can't get Setanta. I don't want to pay for. I can't afford to pay for both. So it's going to be one or the other. And Celtic TV do have the games that like that. Near enough all the games. But the classic one on Sunday actually was they had no sort of coverage of any of the goals and like basically there was no reviews and all that sort of stuff. There was nothing. No highlights of anything that happened in the game, tackles, free kicks, bookings, goals, nothing. You got the single, basically like 2 cameras at the game and that was it. Nothing from behind the goals, nothing, no highlights of anything. It was bizarre. I've got no, again, I don't know why I'm paying for this crap. But what I mean, it's just bloody frustrating. So anyway, let's get back to the game.
When it's a Celtic TV production, you kind of realise that you're not going to get necessarily all the replays and all the angles and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's poor. But that point you made earlier on, Pat, I hope to God somebody's listening from either Celtic TV or somebody that knows the guys at Celtic TV just to reiterate that, because I'm sure there's plenty of Celtic fans right across the world that are in the same boat as myself, that simply would rather, when it's not on Setanta over here in Australia, I'd rather watch it on a dodgy stream than pay a few bucks for to watch it on Celtic TV, simply because I couldn't trust the quality of the thing. It might be down, it might be garbage, so I'll take the chance with the dodgy stream. Thank you very much. So yeah, smarten up your ideas, boys. Never mind trying to catch guys out that are trying to share the broadcast with other Celtic fans. If you up your game at Celtic TV and you make it a better quality product, you'll get plenty of guys that will be trying to subscribe, quite happy to put the money into the club. There you go. Let's get off the soapbox now, Pat.
So we're talking about the game, weren't we?
Talking about the game, yes. 4-0 to Glasgow Celtic. I was really, really pleased with the whole attitude going into the game. as I said right at the start there, it was final league game of the season. It could have went flat. Guys could have been watching themselves for the cup final, blah de blah de blah. But I thought we started the game really, really well. We get a nice goal from a free kick from Commons in around about 10 minutes or so. Sammy added another couple. One was maybe a little bit lucky with a deflection, looping over into the far corner. And but they had a good header after that to make it 3-0. And then Stokesy rounded it off with a few minutes to go, I think, towards the end. So 4-0 performance up at Tanadice is always pretty pleasing, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I think all round it was a fairly good performance. They were switched on from the first minute to the last minute, and yeah, I mean, it's maybe it's the whole attitude. Maybe they're playing for cup final spots and all those sort of things. I mean, I guess probably the major was a major surprise. I don't know, the Paddy McCourt one. I think everyone saw it as his final game to say cheerio and all that sort of stuff. So,
yep.
But I mean, it's just, I think that was probably the only surprise, kind of in terms of the lineup and stuff like that. But it was, obviously Brown making a bit of a difference as well. But I don't know if we're actually planning on talking about it. But the treatment he was dished out to him was quite exceptional, really. So I think I tweeted to you a bit later in the game about. I think it was at the stage where you weren't. There was some bits that you were missing, and I said, "Well,
yeah."
And I think I commented along the lines of it's like an end of season game. And again, I probably read back at that tweet about later and thought it didn't come out the right way. One of those sort of arguments. I didn't mean it like that. I was actually talking about Dundee United more than us. I just think they looked tired, lazy. They just it was just like they're just lashing out as if season's over. They've got nothing to play for. Let's just make it difficult for Celtic to win it. So that it certainly wasn't for the performance we were putting in, but yeah, it's good. It's a kind of I guess it's good, sort of inspiring, for next weekend. Just hopefully these guys take that momentum in. And I think if taking a step back, probably 2 or 3 podcasts ago, is maybe Lennon and Mialby and all the guys, they were correct in sending the players away for a bit of a break. So because that's 2 games in a row they've been really, really up for it. So I think that's kind of one of the reasons we sort of titled the show is Up for the Cup, because hopefully they are. The past 2 performances certainly indicate that.
No, that's a good call, Pat. And I think, you're right. At the time, we were a little bit dubious. Was it the right thing to do? But so far, so good. The last couple of games have been good performances, good scorelines, and hopefully the players will carry that into the final on Sunday. I think one of the things for me about Sunday is that for the guys that played in the game where we got presented with the actual trophy against St Johnstone by the lady in pink, that's going to still be fresh in their minds, and they'll want to get their hands on silverware again after a game of football.
You talking lady in pink will be fresh in their mind, or is that...
Maybe? Well, it might be fresh in her mind as well. Possibly not.
She's still walking funny.
She's so out of her depth in the football game, mate.
Well,
Listen,
actually,
you're going to end up getting us an explicit on this thing again.
I think I might have swore at the start.
This is a family show, Pat. A family show.
Well, my kid's in bed. Are you caring? Yeah. Anyway,
that's one of the jokes we always used to on our bus back in Coatbridge, the old Erngobra CSC. If there was any outrageous language, let's say, you'd always get away with the odd bit. But if there was anything too over the top, you could always family bus. That was always the shout to calm some nut job down.
So all the Buckfast that's getting swigged at the back, all the smoking, and
there's none of that carry on.
Singing politically incorrect songs, all that sort of stuff, and get your things out for the boys, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
there was none of
family
that.
Family bus.
None of that on the Erngobra CSC. We were one of the most well-behaved buses. Maybe there was the odd wee drinky poo after a celebration on the way back or whatever, and maybe the odd little bit of bevy on the way in. But Big Jimmy McDonald never knew too much about it. And if he did, he turned a blind eye to the driver, so that was quite good. Anyway, right, enough about that. Reminiscing again.
Oh yeah, so let me get back. It was on the Celtic website for something the other day. It was something that came up on News Now, and yeah, big sort of, if you look at the picture, the background picture of the league champions, and the lady in pink or whatever colour it is showing off. She's pride of place in this picture. Can somebody just Photoshop out, please, Celtic? Come on, she didn't deserve to be there.
At least turn her pink outfit into the hoops or something. and slightly decrease the Buffon type hairstyle she had. We had a tweet from Tom Doherty, who's at Funny Handshake on Twitter, and Tom said, "Don't worry about your listeners, guys. Check your plays or downloads for last week. It was almost 1,000. My wife and kids don't listen to me," he says. That's a pity, Tom. That's a pity. But maybe it's not. I don't know your situation, mate. But no, thank you for the tweet, Tom. And if, please keep contributing as the show is going, mate. We'll give you some shout-outs.
Well, Craig's not happy.
Yeah, right.
Craig's definitely not happy. He's saying get down to the cup final stuff. Come on, boys. He wants teams already. Patience, Craig, boy. Patience.
He's in total cup final mode. There's been so much chat already about cup final, and there's going to be so much more. I think we are going to try to keep it a wee bit. Maybe that's what they want, though, Pat. They just want saturation cup final coverage.
That's a pretty exciting time, Kevin. You know.
What's that?
Exciting time. It's a pretty exciting time, really, if you think about it. So.
Well, it is in many, many ways, as one of our famous managers used to say.
We think again. Let's talk about through the 90s and stuff like. We'd won Scottish Cup final that we win, so it's definitely exciting time. So, but
shall we devote this completely and utterly to a preview? Then is that the way we're going?
Nah, I don't think so. I think it could be. After all the notes that I sent you as well, Jesus, you're having a laugh. Although it is all about Scottish Cup final, though, so.
It is. Well, it's up for the cup we're talking about. I'll tell you what, something that I do want to mention, and again, just this is my little boy in me coming out again, but again, we've been linked with a player, so I want to talk about this just for a little second. We've been linked with a player this week, some Algerian boy called Soudani. Now, have you seen any of this chap, Patrick? Did
Absolutely
you do like everybody does? As soon as you get linked with a player, everybody gets onto YouTube and finds the kind of clips that his agent or something pulls together, and they all look like superstars. Wayne Biggins could have looked like a bloody superstar or something at the time if YouTube was out. But have you seen any of this guy or seen any clips of him or read about him or whatever?
I haven't, and I'm kind of deliberately not doing it because I reckon in the past 2-3 days I've seen probably about 4 or 5 names of so-called players that Celtic are in for, so it's boring just looking at it. So
see, I love all that. How is it boring? Do you not get excited when you get linked with players, whether it's true or whether it's crap? Does it not just give you a wee spark to say, oh, wonder what this guy is like, or wonder who this guy is, or would he fit into the team? Does that not excite you, mate, with the impending new season on the horizon?
Now and again, but it's just a bit early. It's a bit early for me, I reckon, for this one. It's just, I don't know. I think when the season's over, then you take kind of stock, but it's just a bit too early for me. Sort of looking at these players, it's just pure speculation. The newspaper wants to be first, so they find some guy that's out of contract. And I mean, how many of these have actually been right in the past 5 years?
At least 2%.
Small. I'll take the 2% then, all right. But you know what I mean? It's how many players you have to be linked with. It's just for me they just cast a net. It's like anybody who's within the price range, and is a reasonable player, they just cast a net on and say, oh, this guy's leaving his club. He's not happy.
It's easily done, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's
I still like it. I do. Because I read things, but then I make my own mind up, and usually it's if you're getting actual comments from a player or their agent and they're saying, they've made contact and it's in quotes and all the rest of it, then fair enough. But when it's a source close to says, or we believe that such and such could be, that's the kind of stuff you just think yourself, nah, forget it. But the interesting thing for me about this one was, I think when the story broke, it was in one of the Portuguese papers anyway, because he plays for Vitória Guimarães just now.
Yeah.
Although he's Algerian, that's who he's playing for just now, and it was in a Portuguese paper, I think, that the story broke, and then obviously everybody else picks up on it. So I don't know, who knows? But I had a little look anyway. Again, as I said, I always do this. As soon as we get linked with somebody, get onto YouTube and have a little look. And the clip that I saw, it was called Hilal Soudani Serial Butter. Now, there's also a bit of French there again, and as you recall from the very, very start of the show, my French isn't the best, but that either means he's got too much hair in his Nikes and he's a bit light in his loafers, or he's a serial goal scorer, mate. Serial butter.
Well, if he's a serial goal scorer, is is he going to become any us? I mean, seriously. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he scored. I just pulled it up on Wikipedia. So it's appearances since he signed for Vitória Guimarães. 35 appearances, 13 goals. So a goal every third game. So I don't know if that's good or bad in the Portuguese league. For the Algerian national team, again, 13 appearances, 7 goals. Which again is not too bad for a country like Algeria, I guess. Team. Yeah. All right, anyway, change of mind. That's fine. Go for it.
Aye, might as well sign the serial butter. That's him. Right, enough about him now. We'll talk about something else. Now, again, we could go into the cup final, but I think it's a wee bit too early to go into the cup final. Something again for, given that we are based in Australia, mate. There was a little story this week as well that our good old friend from the past that used to be a very good Celtic player. We stood by him for quite some time, and then he stuck 2 fingers up at us and buggered off to Man United because he saw the dollar signs or the pound signs. Mr. Liam Miller, who played up the road from me here in Mandurah at Perth Glory last season, he's actually signed for Brisbane Roar, another Aussie club in the A-League over here. He's went over to Queensland now and he's signing for them. Now, you had made a point, Pat, in some conversation or some stuff you were saying this during the week about, is this a reflection of Australian soccer, that a guy like Liam Miller, or Australian football, that, you know, a guy like Liam Miller he's definitely kind of in demand over here. He's definitely one of the better players in the A-League. Now, that either says a lot about Liam Miller as a player and where his career has went since he left Celtic, or is that the kind of standard that's around in the A-League in Australia just now?
Yeah, well, look, he's 32 years old, I think, 31, 32 years old, and as you said, he's still one of the players that is reasonably well in demand over here, which is, I think, it is a sort of bad reflection on Australian football, I guess, if he's the sort of guy that players are going out to try and get. I mean, you've got like Brisbane. In truth, they're not that bad a team. They've got a good setup. You know, it's a one team sort of city. You know, there's no other real sort of teams round about there. You know, so they've got a sort of big catchment area as well. And like I don't know if you were in Australia at the time, but when Celtic played up there, I said the setup they've got's great. You know, and a sort of good bunch of supporters as well. They're well supported when they're doing well. You know, so. Yeah, it's a good move for him. I think, from what I remember, he said it was something to do with his family. Like he was moving for his family, so something along the lines of Western Australia's a shithole. I want to go somewhere decent in the east of Australia. It's something I can't remember the exact.
Is that Liam Miller's thoughts or your thoughts, Pat? Be careful what you're saying here.
I'm just fishing. So yeah, like you know, they're not a bad team, but I think it depends what sort of why they've got him really. If he's going to be what they're building the team around. A 31, 32-year-old, ex nothing really. I mean, he's done all right in the A-League, hasn't he? I don't watch as much A-League, I think, as you do, but I think he's done all right for Perth Glory. I mean, I think they were singing the praises of him towards the end of the year.
Well, yeah, I don't want to upset any of the Perth Glory guys over here, but if I get this wrong, but my view was that he was definitely one of their better players, and any time I saw them playing, Liam Miller was... I guess the equivalent in the Perth Glory team to what he was becoming in the Celtic team at the time. But I'd like to just talk for a second, Pat, as well about Liam Miller when he was when he eventually broke through to Celtic, because I remember having chats about this at the time and after he left, and the thoughts that were going through our minds as Celtic fans when he was going, and it was the wrong decision for him, it was too soon and all this stuff. Because I remember thinking at the time that this was a wee guy that had been injured when he was in the kind of youth setup, and he was on the fringes of the team, and Celtic did stand by him. And then when he made his breakthrough that season, now I'm hellish with years and things like that. I could never remember exactly the year or whatever it was, but I just remember when Liam Miller broke into the team. And we were in the Champions League as well, but this was a wee guy that came into that team, and he had a presence about him, and he played. The thing for me was he had a great touch, he had great vision, he could pick a great pass, and he always played with his head up. And I just always remember thinking, see this wee guy, see if we can, you know how they always go on about you build a team from right through from the goalkeeper right up front. As long as you've got that line right through the centre from back to front, you're going places. And I remember thinking, this is the wee guy that we could actually build our midfield around if he hangs about. Now I think at the time Petrov was there as well from memory, but I really remember, and there's one game sticks out in my mind. I think it was a Champions League game against Anderlecht at Celtic Park, and the wee man that night, I just remember, was superb, and I'm sure he scored that night as well. And I just remember thinking, this wee guy, if we can hang on to him, we're really, really going places. But then, of course, before you know it, Fergie made his move and he buggered off the wee man and all the rest of it. But as soon as that happened, his career hit the skids, really, and he went downhill fast. I think he was still getting a bit of a game for Ireland, but then he was getting limited appearances for Man U. Then he get put out on loan, and then he was here, there, and everywhere. And he was eventually at bloody Hibernian and things like that as well, wasn't he? And that's when you just knew his career was on the old skids down. And so lo and behold, he's playing in Australia, dotting about, and he's back to Brisbane Roar. So yeah, I guess just because it's an Aussie-based show, I thought I'd just give that a little mention tonight anyway.
I think you're right though. I mean, I recall it. I mean, I was over here at times. It was Martin O'Neill sort of era, when he was sort of around, and he was sort of the next sort of big thing. And to be fair, like, the performances that I recall him putting in, you would build a team around him because he was a great young player. Yeah. You know, and it's just those sort of guys are. I guess it was the kind of the equivalent of Scott Brown at the moment. You know, but you're getting a Scott Brown who would have been 19, 20, 21 years old. You just think sort of, you know, the career he could have in front of him if you can sort of keep someone like that. But look, he saw the big lights of Manchester, and let's face it, it's hard not to when you've got Alex Ferguson knocking on your door, you know, in England. And I think from memory, wasn't he a Man United supporter? I can't quite remember that, but
yeah, I think he would have been.
I think he was. Just something like that rings a bell, you know. So here's a club that he supported as a kid. You got Alex Ferguson down there. They're throwing money after him, and look, it set him up for life. Let's face it. I mean, he left us, and we were all disappointed, but it pretty much set the guy up for life. And I think getting back to his Hibs days again. I can remember much of it. I think he did all right at Hibs as well. I think they were sort of keen on sort of keeping hold of him, but I think the change of climate and all that sort of stuff. You know, big difference from playing in Edinburgh to playing in sort of Western Australia with nice weather and sunny and all that sort of stuff as well. But he's certainly found his level. He's probably a level above what the guys are playing here. Not that he wouldn't fit in a Celtic team. You know, he'd probably these days would he even play for a Hibs? Would he be playing the Scottish Cup final on Sunday? Oh, I don't even know about that, but
I still think he could do a job over there. But again, he wouldn't be in our team now. But yeah, I think the wee guy just made a big mistake in terms of his actual career when he left us. He left far too soon. He could have stayed at Celtic for another few years and then got his big move if he wanted to. But I'm there. That's me just being cynical about the wee guy. But anyway, enough about Liam Miller. We have been joined on the show at long last again by Vimar. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very good.
Have you
very
answered?
good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
No, we can't.
What's that ringing? Was that ringing then?
I don't know.
No, you're the one that's ringing. Come on.
I
Anyway,
don't hear any.
story.
I don't hear any ringing, Vimar.
I can't hear it ringing either.
No, but it drowns out the voices in my head, so that's all right. So what's
That's
happening? What's the topics tonight?
The topics tonight are, well, we've talked a little bit about the game last week already, and we were just chatting about Liam Miller there because he's moved now from Perth Glory to Brisbane Roar. But we're going to be talking, of course, about the Scottish Cup final this weekend, but we're going to come on to that in a little minute. But what's been happening with you, Vimar? What's happening in the world of Vimar? What do you want to be known as tonight? I should clarify this.
It should be Madam. You know that's my
Madam.
code word for here.
Right.
Yeah, thank you very
Right,
much.
on this show is madam. Can I just tell you that Pat said, see before this call, because I'd said that you might be joining us, madam, and then Pat said, oh, I don't know, we're not having this madam carry on. It's VMAR or MA. It's not madam. I said, well, you can't be saying that, Pat. It's up to you what you want to be called. So when it's half the world away show, you're madam.
Exactly, and it's not up to Pat to decide that.
Correct. Is that okay with you now, Pat?
Well, bear in mind, I've got control of the Skype call. You'll do what you're told, okay?
I know Colin Kennedy lives near you. I'll send him round.
We'll tell you what. Why not just give my address out on air? That's probably a better idea. Let's get them queuing up outside.
I'm no Ali McCoy. I'm not going to be demanding names and addresses and stuff like that.
Well, Colin's tweeted us in as well to say, how's it going, lads, with an H in there. Loving the show. Hail, hail. So there you go. Thanks for that.
See, Colin's one of these guys. Colin's hanging on.
He's baking now. He bakes.
He's just one of these guys that's dying to call in, but he's just not got the guts to do it. So, Colin, get your finger out, buddy. And by the way, you're going on Sunday. He lives just down the road from me, so
that's good. We've also
what top are you wearing on Sunday, Pat?
Oh well, we'll talk about that a bit later. Maybe that's we've got a retro night, so I have been looking at my old Celtic tops, which has been, my God, they stink. They've been in a bag for like 5 years. So anyway, I'll share them with you a bit later. I think.
Full of moths. We've also had our good friend and regular contributor, Mr. Jim Kinlan. He's tweeted in as well saying, hail, hail, the Celts are here. What the hell do we care? He's missed out now there. But it's good, Jim. Good to hear from you, mate. Good to hear from you. Thanks for tweeting in, because that's about 5 people listening now.
Hopefully I'll catch up with him on Sunday for the cup final. Hopefully he'll be coming down into the big city.
I saw a few tweets from him, madam, during the week there, and I think he most definitely is going to be in. He's going to be in Sydney, going to watch it there. So that'll all be good, I suppose. It's a midnight kickoff over there, is it not?
I thought it was 10. I'm not sure. I don't care. I'll be in the pub from about 5 or 6. So.
See, you must be looking at my tweets again. It's 10 o'clock kickoff in Western Australia time. So it's midnight.
Somebody in New York told me their kickoff is 10 a.m. and we're 12 hours ahead of them or something.
You don't live in New York.
You're not in New York, remember? You're in Sydney, aren't you?
I know. And at the minute I'm sitting with a suitcase and stuff all over the floor because I have to pack for Vegas. I'm away a week on Sunday to Vegas.
Good on you. No, that'll be good. The old convention.
Yeah, I've got a week of tourist stuff because the last time I missed the pool party and a trip to Red Rock Canyon. Nice. So I'm going to do all that stuff before the drinking starts. Yeah. And we've got a booked out shooting. We've picked the zombie apocalypse as an experience you can have with an Uzi and an AK-47, and they put up zombie targets for you and you can just shoot the hell out of them. It's going to be cracking.
And who are you going to be pretending those zombies are when you're shooting them? Anyone in particular, or just zombies in general?
Oh, got a few. You know, just a few dogs that you've panned in the years. I mean, Barry Ferguson was a treat once on a dartboard that helped us win some supporters club competition. You know, maybe think about Fat Sally, Jabba the Hun, you know, big trainer. Yeah, there'll be a few. I'm sure I'll get a few targets.
Ah, good on you, madam. Good on you. Right, I'll tell you something that we will speak about just now and again. This was last week on the show. We were talking about, there was quite a bit of anniversary stuff. There was Tommy Burns passing, God rest him, and Bobby Murdoch's, again, God rest him as well. But right at the very end of the show, I managed to squeak in just a little mention of bloody Seville, of course. Now, it's 10 years since the UEFA Cup final, where we came so close to lifting that trophy, but we were just, I guess, a little bit of unlucky on the day, and the Bobo Baldy sending off, and who knows. But I guess it'd be nice, I think, tonight if we could maybe just do a little bit of reminiscing about Seville. So I'll ask each of you, what was your memories of it, and were you there, or where did you watch it, and stuff like that. I'll come to you first, Pat. Are you there, Pat?
Yes, I am here. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking this today. Actually, I reckon I must be the unluckiest Celtic supporter in the entire world. And I go back many, many, many years, but I'll maybe share that with you another night. About, I came here, moved to Australia probably a month before we stopped 10 in a row, and we had this whole glorious era of Martin O'Neill, and I was over here.
Lucky white heather.
Lucky white heather. And for the Seville game, I was actually made redundant in my job about a month before, and I can still remember this vividly. Again, lucky white heather. I was made redundant, and I had enough money. I could either went back to Scotland, I went back for the game, or I could have bought a car. And I didn't have any mode of transport. I wasn't near public transport. It was just one of those kind of decisions you make in life. So no, I stayed here. Well, a dozen of my friends from my supporters club made their way over. So yeah, I watched the game with, and I don't know if anybody knows this guy, but Jim Gallagher. He's from North London. I can't remember. I think from North London, but sort of London area. He's in one of the supporters clubs there. So if Jim, you're ever listening to this, mate, anybody knows him, ask him to get in touch, because he was just a genuine guy. So him and his mates were touring Australia at the time, and they spent a lot of time in Melbourne. I think they spent probably out of the year. I think they spent 9 months here. And now I made it with a sort of good friendship. I assisted with him and watched the game, but we put on a big sort of spread in the pub, and they were queuing up to get in. It was just like, I think at one stage they ended up locking the doors. They couldn't get any more people in the pub. It was absolutely jam packed. But my God, what a laugh it was! It was just a great day. So great morning. But I'd managed to get my first ever job in IT. I really wanted to work in IT. I was an engineer and I just hated my job, and so I managed to get this job. Working for an IT company called Dimension Data, who a lot of people in the IT industry would know, are pretty big. I think they were sponsors of Man United at the time, actually, from memory. But and I got a job with them, and I was literally at the first week of this job when the cup final happened, and I had to ask for time off in my first weeks to. It was only a contract job, admittedly, but so yeah, I kind of missed all the fun of jumping in planes and hopping all the way over there, but. Yeah, fond memories of a game. It was just a sort of great day for us out here. We just certainly made the most of it, but unfortunately the result wasn't quite there. But yeah, so sadly I missed the whole thing. But next best thing is spending it with the time with your mates here, and making with phone calls with Sean Fitzgerald, because our supporters club we got some flags made up, and Sean took the flag I had over to the game with him, and he's going. We'd actually see it. I was up on the stage pointing to this tiny wee speck on the screen going, there's my flag, I'm at the game. So yeah, that was it. That was my one and only part. So,
and of course somebody else that you weren't watching it with over there in Melbourne was Stevie Fallons, because Stevie made it to Seville.
So Stevie Fallons and John Manning were sort of two of my best mates here, and John's now back in Dublin. Yeah, I would have been with them. It was just it sounded like a brilliant trip. I think Stevie was tweeting some pictures with him and his brother.
He was, yeah.
On the square during the week. Not tweeting, but on Facebook. Yeah, so it was I'll be forever jealous, but it's just one of those life sort of decisions you make. Like do I buy a car, because it was literally the only money I had. Or do
I'll say it again, Pat. Lucky white heather, mate.
Aye, get your heather.
Let's lighten the mood a bit. Madam, what about yourself? What's your own memories of Seville? Were you over there, or were you in Oz, or what?
No, I was in Sydney. I couldn't afford to splash out the $5,000. It was Scruffy Murphy's we were on, getting to the pub at 4 a.m. to start drinking. And it was mobbed, and people had the sombreros and all that. And I actually don't remember that much of that day. I remember more of the Boa Vista on Anzac Day.
Ah, yeah, okay.
I remember that, and I don't know how I remember it, because I was on the piss for 20 hours that day. I think that was a 5 a.m. kick-off, and I got home at 10 p.m. that night after 2 Up finished. I just collapsed into a taxi, and God, I think I was asleep for 3 days. But the run-up, the matches were fantastic, from when we beat Liverpool, and it blue screened in the pub, and none of us knew, and that's when Alan Thompson had scored. And somebody had got a text message saying it's 1-0. So all the Celtic fans were cheering and the Liverpool fans were just looking at us. And then it came up on the screen and it was 1-0. And then everyone went really wild. It was like, whoa. And so the day the match, I can't remember. And I'd got so excited I'd set up my video recorder for the match, but I set it up for the day later, so I never even taped the match.
Schoolgirl error. A schoolgirl error.
Yeah. I mean, we did it at 3 a.m. when you're up getting ready and blow drying your hair. It was mad, but it was a really good day.
No, that's good. Good memories. No, I guess my memory of it, I was very, very fortunate to be in Seville, and in fact, the story where this goes back, I was living in Scotland at the time, and but I was so lucky to actually get a ticket for the game as well, because my brother and brother-in-law had the foresight after we beat Liverpool. It was after that game, I'm sure it was after the Liverpool game, that the tickets for the final went on sale. So they actually went on to the UEFA website and ordered, I think you could get 2 tickets each, 2 tickets per person. So they went on and got tickets for the UEFA Cup final. But me being Mr. Pessimistic Celtic fan as usual, I was, we're never going to get there, boys. But anyway, the way it turned out, got to the final, of course, as we all know, and fair play to my younger brother John. He was offered by a few mates to have his full week-long holiday in Seville and in Spain paid for, all this kind of stuff, if he would give his other ticket. But fair play to my young bro, I'll never forget him for it. I'll thank him to this day and beyond that he said, no, my brother's not got a ticket, I need to give it to my big brother Kev. And I thought, oh son, you are the best. Honestly, he was getting offered a full, his whole holiday paid for if he gave his ticket, his spare ticket away, but not. He gave it his big brother. So fair play to him. But we went out. I was working at the time, and it ended up. I didn't have much time I could take off work, so I managed to do a bloody day trip, and it cost me best part of a bloody grand. It was farcical. Best part of a grand to go for a day trip, and we flew out really early in the morning with a couple of mates. We got to Seville. As soon as we arrived, we were on the piss, of course, even before we got on. We actually got a lift to Glasgow Airport in a postman's bus from a boy from Wishaw gave us a lift over. Somebody I worked with, her brother gave us a lift to the airport, and so we were starting drinking then, and it was just great. I remember landing in the aeroplane, Seville, and everybody starts singing "Hail, Hail, the Celts are here" and a Celtic song, and the pilot, it was a charter plane and all this stuff. The pilot wished us all the best for the game, and you got into Seville and it was roasting hot. It was beautiful weather, and of course we had the sombreros and all that, and the Cruz Campo was the beer of choice in Seville, and there was plenty of that consumed, and it was just a blur. Plenty of bevy, plenty of carry on, plenty of laughter, plenty of just, seeing some of the Porto fans and they're giving you a little bit of roast, you're giving them a little bit of roast back, and getting to the game. Then the game itself, I got into the ground really, really early actually, but there was a bit of the build-up. I think Tony Hamilton was there from Celtic, and he was trying to, get the Celtic fans all boosted up and stuff like that at the Celtic end, and the Tony Hamilton equivalent from Porto was doing the same at their end. And then the game itself, of course, came up, and my lingering memories of the game were the goals we lost were bloody poor, and it was just when we got it back to 2 each, I, like God knows how many thousand others, just thought, this is our night, this is it, we're going to do this here. There's only one winner in this game. And then bloody Bobo getting sent off, and it all just went pear-shaped. But see at that time, and see when they got the winner, that's when I just kind of thought, I didn't see walking out from the game, I wasn't depressed or anything. I just, because even going into the game, I was thinking, this is a bloody good team we're playing here, and I'm just so happy that I'm getting the chance to experience going to a European Cup final, a European competition cup final, because I just thought it's incredible. So I thought I just want to experience it and love it, and if we win it, it's a bloody massive bonus. But just the manner of the whole game, and we were so near, but yet so far. I could have been really gutted coming out, but I wasn't at all. I was pissed, but I was also I was really proud. I was really proud that we didn't embarrass ourselves in the final. We were superb, and for large parts we played the better football. And so coming out of the game, it's so bizarre to say, but I wasn't really on a downer. But then, of course, my mind then, along with my mates, was turning to, Christ, our flight leaves in a couple of hours. We need to get to the airport. Because, as I said right back at the start, we were there for a day trip. And we ended up, we get back into Glasgow. I think we must have been one of the last flights to leave Glasgow. And we must have been one of the first flights back. Because I remember when we get into Glasgow airport, there was, I'm terrible sleeping on planes and things like that. When I'm travelling at all, I'm terrible sleeping. So my eyes were hanging out of my head. But anyway, we gets off the plane. And I was just, at that time, I'm just thinking, I can't wait to get home and get to my bed sort of thing. This is the early hours of the next morning. But we comes into Glasgow airport and we're coming through the arrivals. And STV cameras and things like that are all there to see the Celtic fans coming back. So there was some reporter for the Scotland Today or whatever it was called then. Sticksteel, would you mind doing a little quick interview with us and stuff like that? So we're kind of, what? But we did, and so we were interviewed and we were on the early morning news programmes for the Scottish news. But because we were so pish and so rubbish, we get replaced later on by better fans as they arrive through the gates and stuff like that. So see, to this day, I never ever saw myself on that little news broadcast because I was sleeping by the time I got home. But they canned us because we came back and we were pie-eyed. And but yeah, memories.
Did you have a direct flight then, Kevin, or did you have to go?
No, we did. We did. We flew. It was a charter flight. Again, one of my mates that I worked beside at the time, they had some contacts with one of the travel companies, so we managed to get on to one of the charter flights, and it was, Christ, I can't remember where it was we flew to now exactly, but I remember there was a bit of a bus journey. I think it was Seville itself we flew to, and then there was a bit of a bus journey to the stadium and stuff like that. But no, memories is my memory's usually terrible for stuff, but I've got so many vivid memories of Seville. Even although I was pissed, it was just such an experience, and just really, really proud, very, very proud of the boys that year, and how we performed in the final. It was great memories. We've had a few more little tweets coming in, folks. Now, Pat, are you still there? And Madam, you still awake?
Still awake.
After my long rant here.
Yeah, I knew. Wondered you were canned from the early morning news, eh?
Oh, man. Exactly, I know. It's just ranting. Once I get ranting, that's me. I can't stop.
It's like, all right, I'm switching the channel.
That was a Scotland Today special, wasn't it? For Kev, you know? Cause
It was. Right, I'm going to go back. We've got a few more tweets now. Jim Kinlan, he's tweeted back to just confirm to you, madam, that it definitely is midnight. Yeah. Right?
So that. That's news for me. That's good. Yeah.
So that's all good. Colin
I've
Kennedy.
got Monday off anyway.
Oh, you lucky bugger. You lucky bugger. No, that's not something that I've managed to wangle, unfortunately.
I took Monday off because I'm hopefully going to be out all night and then just sleeping all day.
It sounds like a plan. I wish I could, to be honest, but no, it's not happening for me, unfortunately.
I did the same thing. Took today and Monday off. I'm making the whole weekend of it, so yeah. It's been good. I started my day today, and I actually had to do some stuff in my kids' school, so I was doing the sports stuff today, and then I thought I'll start the weekend off, the whole weekend, so I got to lunchtime. I ended up watching the Aberdeen Gothenburg video, like it was a documentary thing on BBC Alba. And then I started watching the Hillsborough. I haven't even watched anything Celtic today, and that was my plan, was to sit and watch Celtic DVDs and stuff like all day, but never mind.
What's the BBC? How did you get BBC Alba?
Ask no questions, tell no lies.
I'll need to speak to you after the show about that, Mr. Close.
Yeah, take that one offline.
Yeah.
Take that offline, yes, we'll discuss that later. Very good.
There's ways you can get stuff in inverted commas, Kevin.
Oh, right, okay. IP addresses and all that nonsense.
No. This is
right.
Totally legit, dodgy.
Right, good. We'll definitely take this offline. Right, Jimmy Kinlan as well. He's come back in and he's saying, has Madam started drinking ahead of Sunday already? Have you, Madam?
Yes, I'm getting some practice in. I've got my red wine.
Good. Red wine. Which kind of red wine are you partaking in?
Oh, South Australia. I think it's Barossa. Always like a Barossa. Pepper Jack, Cab Sav. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Pat, do you have a little tip with you, seeing as you're off work and you have been off work and you will be off work all weekend long?
I've got a bottle of water sitting next to me, Kevin.
God.
I don't have any alcohol in the house. I'm just not a big drinker. I don't have any alcohol here, so no. I'll be saving myself for Sunday. I've got Monday off, so I'll God only knows how I'm going to get home, but that's another story.
You'll have a little half pint Ken Barlow style. A little half pint of something or other.
Well, Kevin, we've been joined.
What you got, Kevin?
Well, I've had a few bottles of Heineken again. The show's brought to you in association with Heineken. I enjoyed it so much last week, I thought I'd have some more. But unfortunately, my glass runneth dry right now. I might need to send a wee message to my darling beloved to bring me in another one. But anyway, so yes, I'm on the Heineken.
Sponsor for the show?
Well, if anybody from Heineken's listening, just tweet me and I'll send you my address. If any brewers of any description are listening, please feel free to get in touch and send me some stuff and I'll be happy to give you a shout out. We do have many thousands of listeners, don't we?
Yeah, and I'll take the red wine.
Yeah. What was it? Pepper Jack? Pepper
Jack. It's a lovely Cab Sav, yeah.
So yeah, if that's from South Australia, if anybody's listening from Pepper Jack, get in touch with Madam in Sydney and send her a few cases for giving you a shout out.
You guys are talking complete piss. Right, move on, come on.
Yeah. Right, we've had Greavesy Boy as well. Greavesy Boy has tweeted to say, "Great show, lads and Madam. What's your predictions for Sunday?" Now, we'll probably come back to this, right? We'll come back to Greavesy Boy on that one. You're tweeting while you're even on the show, Madam. You're saying...
See, I'm multitask.
Multitasking.
I'm on the show. I'm drinking wine. I'm doing Twitter.
Unbelievable.
Right, Kevin.
Says,
right. No, Kevin, let's cut. We've got somebody who's actually kind enough to have called in, and I'm sure he's on a mobile phone somewhere. So do you want me to just have a quick chat to him? I'm sure he wants to plug something.
Not?
Just say.
Why not? Let's welcome to the show Mr. Prefontaine. How are you, Pre?
How boys? I'm very well. Yourself?
Very, very good. Very good. Have you been? Sorry, Pre, on you go.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I thought I'd just sort of bring some Australian culture to this podcast because I've just literally just dialed in now, and it just sounds like it's just three Glaswegians having a bit of a chat to each other. So evidently this is meant to be an Australian show, so I thought I'd bring some Australian accents to it.
Excuse me, I'm the only Glaswegian. The other two are from the Wilds of Lanarkshire.
That's correct. That's correct. So get your facts right, Pre.
Oh, well, you know, it's all the
You're not going to lump it all together, all right? Yeah, hi.
It's all the west of Scotland to me.
Correct. Ouch. Anyway, Pre, listen, thanks for dialing in. Do you want to give us a little update as to what you've been up to? Or any updates on the Rebel podcast?
We've been really, really lazy lately, and I'm kind of embarrassed in some respects because I was convinced that the Cup final was on Saturday night. And my mum, who we've had on the show from every now and then, called me up during the week and said, no, it's on Sunday night. And we all think that my mum's a bit senile because she's getting on. And I was saying to her, no, mum, it's on midnight Sunday because what happens at 11:59 on a Saturday, it clicks over to Sunday, and that's when the game is on. And she's going, I'm not so sure about that. And I'm going, I'm telling you, the Cup final is always on a Saturday night in Australia. And then I was told by some of our cousins in Scotland that no, the game actually is on a Sunday in Scotland. I feel quite embarrassed about that because I've been tweeting about it, saying, listen to our show, which will be on Saturday afternoon. And and I had to actually call my mum up tonight with a great deal of humility and say to an 80-year-old woman that the game. Sorry, Mum, you're right. It actually is on a Sunday.
You made that famous schoolboy error, but you can understand why with the whole clock ticking over midnight thing. You can see how it happens, mate. And I must admit, every weekend, sometimes I still have to get my head around which day is the bloody game on this weekend. So usually, if you listen back to any previous Half the World Away shows, usually I always say the game this weekend because I always get confused which bloody day the game's on. Terrible.
But isn't it great?
I'm alright with the days. It's the times that get me.
But what happened to the great tradition of cup final Saturday when both the FA Cup final in England and the Scottish Cup final in Scotland were played on the same day, and it was a Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff in the UK. And now they're playing, like the FA Cup final in the UK, in England, is like 6 weeks before the actual season ends.
Yeah,
and
that's bizarre.
Scottish Cup finals played, the day after the Champions League final because we have to make way for Europe. It's ridiculous.
I think my understanding of that is that this is maybe just maybe not a one-off, but it's certainly not going to be a regular thing. I think it's just because of the timing with I must admit as well, guys, I'm not keen on the whole Champions League final being on a Saturday. I think European nights are Wednesday nights, end of story. So the whole Champions League, I can understand why they've done it for more viewers and things like that, but European Cup final nights are Wednesday night. And yeah, that thing that you're saying, Priya, about the days when you used to get both cup finals on the Saturday afternoon, that's the way it should be. I couldn't believe. Again, I'm very, very selfish. It's not as bad for me over here as you guys over on the East Coast, but it's a 10 o'clock kickoff for me here, which is not too bad. But again, I've got bloody work the next morning. I'm driving at 7 a.m, so I'm going to be limited as to how much bevy I can cram in. I'm still going to be next. And especially if it goes to extra time and penalty kicks, that just puts something else in the mix. So I'm hoping, and I don't want to give my score prediction away here, but I'm hoping we do the high bees in 90 minutes so that I can hang around for the lifting the cup celebrations, quaff my final pint of Guinness and get back up the road and into my beddy buys.
I think it's going to be like the Dixie Deans Cup final of in the 70s when we're going to give them an absolute doing, because I think that we're on form now. We're looking good. They're getting the feel for it. They're enjoying it again. They're enjoying their football. Football's fun again at Parkhead, and I reckon we're going to give them a good humping.
That sounds good, Pre. Sounds good. I hope you're right. Now, listen, we've also been joined on the call and on the show by Gary Boy Somerset Tim. How are you, Gary?
How you doing, mate?
Very good.
Speak again. I've been listening to the show there the last 20 minutes. I only just got back from Somerset, back to Bristol, and your stories relating to Seville have got a big smile on my face, and there's nostalgic. I have memories myself. I was there that week. I didn't go to the game. I was at one of the two parks, at that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you something about Seville. How often you have people would say that the only people who will be remembered in years to come are those who are the most successful, and especially in football. I remember one of these documentaries called The Beautiful Game, History of Football, which was narrated by a guy called Terence Stamp. It was very objective, documentary, not one of your, English-based football documentaries where there's a wee bit bias, but it's very objective. But I remember when they were talking about the total football era in with Holland, and particularly in the '74 World Cup. Although they didn't win, they weren't successful in the World Cup. Yep. But Johan Cruyff had said that success is not the be all and end all of in football, because some people will remember it. Especially those in their at that time will remember the football played by Holland. Now, in this case, with Celtic fans, okay, we're us. Only us Tims will remember Seville, but so will the people of Seville and maybe the people of Spain and anybody who appreciates football culture or football history.
I think that's a good call, Gary.
And also as well, let's not forget. Well, let's not forget, but Old Cole won the treble that season. How many? Well, maybe not us, but how many of everybody else has spoke about that? Hardly anybody. We won nothing that season.
That's right.
It's
a good point. Yeah. And why did you have to bring that up?
Why did I?
No, it's a
valid,
good call.
Yeah, just made a valid point. Yeah, no, it's before I go back to it, I just want to add my congratulations to our fellow Hoops last Sunday that won the playoff final. Our local team, Yeovil Town.
Did they?
Yeah, promoted to the championship now. Yeah, one promotion away to the Premiership. Everybody's saying. Yeah, it's a good day. I'm delighted for one of the two players. There's a guy called Paddy Madden who's quite a good. I think he's the high. I don't know if it's him or this other Irish guy who's the highest goal scorer in Championship 1. 23 goals this season, so spread out. But no, I'm delighted for the people of Yeovil. Half the population was there that day, and very, you see them at the end. Very, very familiar scenes like Celtic fans in the Celtic at Hampden. It's but only this time it's a English team in green and white. But
very good. Are they still actually playing in the hoops, Gary?
Half the hoops, yeah. Half of it hoops, half of it is green in the front. And as we were saying, as I said to you last time, they didn't wear the hoops until somebody funny, right? I'm going to go back to Seville here. Somebody asked me when I was boasting about it on Twitter about Yeovil being promoted, and somebody asked me was it true that Seville season influenced the Yeovil Town to change their colours as well? No, I'm not too sure myself. Mm-hmm. I like to think it's true, but I do think it's a myth at the same time. Times, but it did. They changed their style of strip till by the early noughties. They didn't wear hoops in the late 90s. What they said, but there you go. That was.
No, I think I've got fond memories, as I've mentioned before, of our the Ergo Brassi SC in Coatbridge. We ran a bus to see Yeovil playing at Carlisle. A full coach one time, and then we actually went down to see them at Hewish Park as well. And we took a good squad of us down to see them as well, just for no other reason other than they wore the hoops, and Celtic weren't playing at home that day.
I remember you mentioned that last time.
Yeah, I think I did.
I told the man our man at the CSC about it, and he remembers. He remembers the group of you then.
He would. I think anybody at the Bristol would have done it that, because they made us feel very welcome, Gary, as well. In there, it was great memories.
If you listen now as well back to the Seville stories, obviously, as you might know, Chris McGuigan is launching like a 12 podcast series on the history of Celtic under Lost Boys' name, and you'll hear some audio clips, of Fat Celtic fans' memories, some of which I've recorded at the Bristol CSC and recorded back home. Picking up stories from my own man and good friends of mine's. It'll be a good listen, at times, and some have a mention of Seville in particular.
It's all good memories. All good memories. Well, listen, what I'm going to do, folks, is because time is marching on, and this is the Up for the Cup show, so we might as well now. We've avoided it for so long, but we might as well now start talking about a little preview for the Scottish Cup final. So now, it is happening this Sunday, but ticking over to your Monday, just so that we're getting this right here for Eastern States time. But yes, and so this Sunday, or ticking over into Monday, Scottish Cup final against Hibernian. And I guess let's go round the houses here and let's get some thoughts on the build up to it. Let's find out where you're all going to be watching it, and let's find out what your thoughts are on the game and any predictions. Now, I'll come to you because I haven't heard you for a while, Pat. And I'm wondering if you're still awake. I'll come to you first, Patrick. Where are you going to be watching the game, mate? What's happening where you are in your part of the world? And what do you think the scoreline's going to be?
Well, the whole lot, okay. So, everything. Watching it with the Jockstein Celtic Sports Club. My mate's up there, so we've got a bit of a night sort of booked out in the pub. Anyone that's in Melbourne, if anyone actually in Melbourne listens to this, it's the Pint on Punt. It's on Punt Road in Windsor. So, we've got just normal sort of stuff. We're talking about doing different sort of events, boat trips and all these sort of things. And we ended up just deciding to go to the pub. But we've mixed up a little bit with a bit of a retro night. So we've got encouraging people to look out their old Celtic tops, and the more hideous the better. Is pretty much the way we're trying to promote things. So, and it was kind of along the lines of it's Celtic 125 years. Let's try and get some of the older stuff out there as well, and again, it's a bit of fun really. Trying to do something a bit different. So it was kind of interesting over the weekend. I think it was last weekend, looking at my old Celtic tops, and I've managed to find out a few. No real crackers, I don't have the old People's one with the big lightning bolt across the middle of it, but which I was kind of hoping I did have. But although there was one top, I thought, nah. But yeah, I'm kind of.
You can borrow mine, Pat.
I've got one as well.
Jesus,
you're the three.
Well, it was given to me by my cousin years ago, and I was none the wiser. It's 2 years later. It
was still a Celtic jersey after all, Gary.
It is.
Still a Celtic jersey after all.
It's like someone said in the huddle board. Was it Paolo Di Stefano? He was interviewed when he was a young boy about the strip. And he's like, "Was it? It's bogging."
Yep.
And it is.
Couldn't agree more.
You can't argue with that.
Is it actually the worst Celtic strip in the history of the club in terms of the hoops?
It's a good shout, Pre.
Oh,
it is a good shout.
I would say in the history of football.
No.
Next season's one. If that's real.
In terms of
hoops aren't looking too good, I must admit. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, that's actually another story. I want to chat about this afterwards. But let's talk about the cup final. But one thing that sort of dawned on me during the week is, remember they used to bring out the new hoops before cup finals when we got there, and they used to sell it the week before the cup final. Whatever happened to that? Because there's obviously a new set of hoops coming out, and there's been nothing heard of it. Anyway, I'll put that one just to have a little think about that one. But in terms of the event and stuff like that, so yes, we've got sort of the retro night here. I think they try to get guys in the door by 11 o'clock, because I think that it's kind of like a popular night at the pub on Sunday night there. No idea why, but Sunday night seems to be really busy there. So we'll just try to get as many guys in the door as we can. So in terms of predictions, I'm going to probably preempt what our friend Prefontaine said. I reckon we'll spank them, personally. I reckon we'll absolutely spank them. I reckon it'll be probably the best case for them 2-0, but I reckon there could be a bit of damage. No, I'm saying no. Listen, for the best for Hibs they will get is 2-0, right. But I reckon we'll take 3-4 off them. I reckon it's the best they could do is 2, but I don't. Right. Everyone's talking about Lee Griffiths and they're like he's the danger man, but like Celtic aren't stupid. They'll lock him down. In terms of their defence. Anyway. Their defence is very average at the moment, and I think the guy they're kind of holding all their hopes on is it McPake, I think the guy's name is, and he's playing pretty much on one leg at the moment. He's pretty much out there. So I just reckon we'll spank them. So there's my prediction. Well, I'm saying best case, the best I think Hibs can do is I reckon. Whether it gets to the sort of 5 and 6 Dixie Deans type of final, I'm not sure, but yeah, I reckon it could be up there. If we get an early goal, jeez. I watched a bit of the Hibs Falkirk game, and Falkirk took them to shreds, and that was a bunch of laddies. You're talking 18, 19, 20-year-old lads. So with some seasoned professionals, the fact the form that we're in for the past couple of games, we're going in good form. I reckon, I reckon it's.
Yeah. Spanking. Right, I'm up for that. I'm going to come to you next, madam. What do you think? Where are you going to be watching it?
I'm just pouring my wine there. I don't know. I was thinking the casino, but Jim was mentioning Scruffy Murphy's, and I'm thinking since it's the 10 years for Seville, it might be good to get back to Scruffy's for one night and get Messi up there. But I'm not like the optimists there. We think we're going to spank them and whack them 2-0 or do a Dixie Deans, because we saw them choke in finals before, and I just hope they don't choke again. And I don't care what form it is. They've done it before. And, yeah, I think you're up for a long night, Kevin. It might go the extra time. Because it just depends whether they're up for it or not. And I think we'll probably find out in the first 20 minutes what they're going to be like. So I'm not that hopeful.
Right, okay. Well, you're hopeful that we'll win it, but just it might be harder than Pre and Pater might be making out.
Yeah, they've got like their green tinged glasses on, because we saw them. They choked in finals 2 last year. They've already choked in 1 this year, or did we win that? I can't remember. Was I drunk?
But listen, remember, you're talking about green tinted glasses. The high bees will have green tinted glasses on as well. So whatever shade of green tinted glasses you're wearing.
And mine's is red wine coloured tonight. But they came back against Falkirk, even though I know Falkirk are a young team and all that, but they were down 3-0. They could have just walked away. You know, they did come back. And
true.
The last time Celtic came back like that was Kilmarnock last season, when it was going to be all over, like even before the Christmas, and we were 3-0 down. And I've not saw any fight like that from them this season, apart from European nights, I would say. But in the league, nah.
I'll tell you something, madam. You're making some fantastic links here. Have you got a plethora of notes in front of you and you're just pulling these little gems out left, right and centre?
I'm asking somebody. I've got a wee backpacker chained up in the corner with a pint of goon. Yeah.
No, honestly.
I know my stuff, by the way, alright?
Listen, I know you do, but it's some very valid points there.
But you have to think, look, like let's go back. Look, we've scored 8 goals in 2 games. So why wouldn't we take that into a Scottish Cup final? 8 goals in 2 games.
The reason that Madam's talking about.
I'm talking 8 goals in 2 games against teams that are better than Hibs.
Yeah.
Far, far better than Hibs in terms of Dundee United and St Johnstone. So that's
Remember these last 8 weeks. Probably this has been Hibs build up to this game. This is all they've been focusing on. This is all they've been wanting to do. We've had other little bits of distractions here, there and everywhere, and holidays thrown into it and stuff like that as well. And I know that the last 2 games have been great, but no, I think Madam's made a good point. That
Hibs will be absolutely shiting themselves. They got humped 5-0 off Hearts last year. They almost get smacked the same score off Falkirk. If Falkirk had get another goal before half time, that would have been the same. That's just my take on it. I reckon they're there for the taking. Griffiths is a great player, but he is, he's a one-man player.
That wee man. Right, okay. No, I think Madam has given a very balanced view there. A bit of a scary balanced view from Kev's point of view, but a balanced view nonetheless. Right,
I'm a bit better than Pat and Evan, and I should be on whatever his job is.
You're a million times better than bloody Pat and Evan. Don't even say yourself in the same breath as Pat and Evan, for crying out loud, Madam.
Yeah, don't mention me in the same breath as Sam, alright?
Prefontaine, I'm going to come to your good self now. Now, you kind of gave us a little hint earlier on there that you'd said it was going to be an absolute trouncing Dixie Dean style, but what is your thoughts? Is anything that Pat has said or Madam has said that's changing your view at all?
No, not at all. I've got Pat's back on this one because I just think that it's going to be a mollification. And I know that the Hibs they're up for it, and that's fair enough. But they're really up for it. Like there's a lot of history that's weighing on their shoulders right now, and I think that the Celtic they're really starting to hit their straps. And I think that there is definitely that hand and hoodoo thing that's going on in the minds of the team, and I think that they're going to actually seriously. I think that the reason there's a hoodoo is because a lot of those games were kind of like, remember it was Hearts last year and St Mirren this year in the semi-final, and these were games where I don't think they were really on the focus. The team weren't focused on what they were actually trying to do, and this is the last game of the season, We're playing against, a team that are a bunch of upstarts, and I just think we're going to absolutely kick the living shit out of them. I'm thinking 5-0.
5-0. Outstanding. So it's going to be...
Spanking though, isn't it? 5-0 is a spanking, 2-0.
That is a spanking. Well, that's, in some ways, you could see the kind of headlines there as well, because, of course, the last time Hibs get humped by their great rivals, it was the same scoreline as well, so you never know, there might be a little bit of the same again for them. Same again. I'm loving that though. I would love it to be 5-0, but we'll see. We'll come on to Gary now. Gary, you've had a little bit of time to mull things over as well and listen to Pat and Madam and Pre giving their predictions. What's your own thoughts on how the game's going to pan out, and give us a score prediction?
Well, I believe it's going to be a tight one, personally, because the Hibs are in the cup final. They're going to have one stab at it one last time. If they won't have a go, they'll seize the opportunity to win the cup. There's going to take another 111 years to do it. I think it will be 2-1 Celtic. I like to think we could hammer them, but I just think the worst thing Celtic can do is take this approach. I mean, if this was a league game, I suppose it would. Celtic would still have that human nature in them to think, we'll be fine. You can't take that attitude, not with this one, and because it's a cup final. And I think it will be tight. I think if Anthony Stokes plays for the start, I think we're in for a better chance. If he's alongside, I can't see Tony Watt getting a game at the start, but I like to think he would. Opportunity. Well, I'll be watching it at the Bristol CSC, as you know. But it'll be an interesting day, because whether we win or lose, I hope we win. It's I'm going straight to a concert after that. It's the sweaty old bollocks that's Christine Moore down in Bath.
Good.
So it'll be a good, make up for that when we lose. But I'm going to walk on eggshells here a wee bit, but. See if Hibs were to win it, we're going to have mixed emotions about it, because my granddad, God rest him, all his life, obviously never seen Hibs win the cup, and he's been to the cup finals in the 70s, and I remember my old man saying one time that he remembers the Dixie Deans final, that granddad was like quite upset that day. With that happening, because Hibs had a team then, they had a good team then, but and obviously they were, they did occasionally beat Celtic in the League Cup, in cup finals, particularly the League Cup final in '72, but we're not successful in the Scottish Cup. So no, I'll be pleased for him. Maybe we'd dance with the high heavens if Hibs win the cup, and obviously, and as well as I've already spoke to you the other week about my dad's uncle, who's in the suburbs of Sydney. He's trying to look for to watch the game, and it'd be a good one for him, And although my dad thinks he's a closet Celt, but that's just
I do remember you saying
his email.
I do remember you saying that in your tweet, Gary. Right enough.
But no, it'd be a good day. Yeah.
So you're really you're really in a no-lose situation then, one way or another. If
a little bit, yeah.
Hopefully,
at the end, I'm a Celtic man. I will be, and I hope we do make the double.
Just as well, our Pat would be cutting you off the call, Gary.
Yeah, doing the Hugh on me, probably. I think we lost Gary.
That's a fair shout. Now, you did say you reckoned it would be a 2-1 to Celtic. Is that in 90 minutes, or is that through the extra time route?
Oh, good question. I think it will be. The 90 minutes route. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that then, because I don't want to go down the extra time penalty kicks route. I think, from what it's worth, listening to what you've all said there. Now, a few weeks back, I was a wee bit apprehensive. I just had this little bad feeling in me that it might be Hibs' year and blah, 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 just the way that they came back from being down and stuff like that, albeit we had a similar semi-final. But of course, as happens with me, as it gets closer to the final, all those doubts and all those thoughts are right out of my mind. I don't think it's going to be an absolute spanking like Pre does or like Pat does. I don't think it's going to be even that tight. I think it's going to be a lovely little 3-0 victory for Celtic. And it's going to be done. And there's a couple of reasons why I say this. I think the form of the last 2 games that we have taken, I think we will, even although I was kind of playing devil's advocate earlier on, I still think we'll take that into the final. And I think we will play comfortably in the game, and there'll be no dramas at all, and it'll be a glorious little 3-0 victory, which will obviously happen within 90 minutes. We'll get the cup, I'll get back up the road, and I'll be driving up to work at 7 the next morning. Easy the peasy. As simple as that. No dramas whatsoever.
Is that what you're thinking?
There's maybe a bit of that. But
that sounds like you're projecting more than actually what you actually think the outcome will be of the football match.
You know what? It's a bit of both, but also I'm going. You know how you reckoned it would be possibly 5-0 Pre, similar to the Hibs last final score. I think it's going to be 3-0 for the fact that we beat Hibs in the 2001 Scottish Cup final by the exact same scoreline. And I do remember that was a very comfortable performance in that day, very comfortable, and a cosy little 3-0 win. And I'm thinking history might repeat itself on Sunday. That's where my money's going as well. 3-0 to the Celtic against the High Bees. Sorry for your relations there, Gary, but you'll enjoy the Christy Moore concert.
I certainly will, yeah. But I think as I remember when we clinched the treble that day, and there was a song over the tannoy, perfect day. That would be perfect scoreline, wouldn't it? For this Sunday.
Absolutely.
Just like that.
Absolutely.
I remember Mum wasn't happy about that because we got a penalty kick early in the second half, and Mum hadn't finished making the toasted ham cheese tomato sandwiches for everyone and cracked the shits and said, "I haven't finished cooking."
Say that. How did you say it again, Pre?
I haven't finished cooking.
Brilliant.
I thought you were trying to bring the Australian side to this show.
I've got all talents to bring to this show.
Yeah. So where was that accent from then?
That's a Partick accent, actually.
What accent?
Partick. That's 25 Chancellor Street, Partick.
Partick.
Listen.
Oh, we're not giving it
I'm Partick born. That's interesting.
I'm going to. Sorry, Gary, on you go.
No, I just say I'm Partick born myself. I say that sounds about right.
Well, listen, I'm going to defend Pre here because I think that was a fairly decent attempt at a Scottish accent. How good is your Aussie accent, Pat? Give us a
bloody brilliant, mate.
Say that again.
It says bloody brilliant. Bloody oath.
Out of 10, Pre.
I'm just trying to work out what part of Dorset is Pat actually from.
Hey, you. Yes.
Madam, give us your best Aussie accent, please.
Good day, mate. How's it going?
It's Al Stewart. Jesus Christ, what the hell?
I'm from Western Sydney.
It sounds like you have Alzheimer's.
Gary, can you even? I know you're over there, the other side.
Listen, I can't do the accent, but I think my feet have morphed into an Aussie. The feet, they fit perfectly now.
Given you're all slagging Pre, though, let's hear your Aussie accent, Gary.
I used to work with a guy.
That's not very good.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
No. Listen, hear me.
Sounds Scottish.
I used to work with a guy who is from a place called Doreen in Australia. I don't know what part of Australia. I think it's
that a place or a girl?
I think that's Victoria. That's in Victoria.
A girl place name, yeah. But he had a cracking name for an Aussie, Greg Stringerbaits. That was his name. He used to keep saying. He said to one customer, "Was it? That's the best bacon in the world, mate." Best.
That's
better than my effort.
Marks out of 10, Pre.
That's actually, to be honest with you, Gary, that's actually one of the best South African accents I've ever heard in my entire life.
I give it South African now.
That's Doreen Johannesburg.
Yeah, exactly. Next to the suburb of Noreen and Pauline. Like, what has the Australian? What have we done with the names of females? With the whole Pauline, Noreen, Doreen, Maureen? We just completely destroyed the whole female race by making up some of the most ridiculous names.
But shit, Scottish police names, could you not?
It's one of the most famous Aussie female names, not Bronwyn, though.
I think it is.
You don't get many Bronwyns anywhere else.
I don't want to talk
about that was Welsh. No.
I think it is with the Y in the end. That definitely sounds Welsh. Yeah. My mum tells me the story that she, if I was born a girl, she was going to call me Nolene, and and she says, and I'll go, really? And she says, oh, Nolene, such a beautiful, beautiful name.
Oh, it is as well.
It's a shocking name. I'd kill myself if my name was Nolene.
You shouldn't have told us that.
Imagine kicking around town now, and your name was Nolene.
I think it's a good name.
But you know, she had the courage to call me Prefontaine, and you know, I thank her for that.
Yeah, and you've never looked back at all.
Exactly.
So would that be Nolene Fontaine then? No. Let's talk about accents. And when Gary's from Somerset, can you do your combine harvester stuff, Gary? Do something about combine harvesters going. Or
pass.
Oh, come on.
I told you I've got no West Country accent.
Oh, that's good.
Bingo.
Right, listen, I want to get through a couple of little tweets.
Kevin, where's your Aussie accent?
Aye, well said.
Adam, listen, it's me that asks the questions in this show.
Hey, there's no boss here, alright? Just come on.
You gave us your predictions. Give us your accent.
My accent. Listen, honest to God, I can do a few accents.
You can do a Charles Green. His Charles Green is excellent.
I can do a Charles Green, but I honestly cannot do an Aussie accent for the life of me. It's bloody awful. I wouldn't even give it an airing on this show because it's just so bad. There's no point whatsoever.
Unless you do it, this show is going to be on tomorrow morning. It's going to keep going until you do this.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Just give him something to say. Give him something to say in Australian, and he's got to try it. Come on.
No, I'll tell you what. There's a little story that I can mention here. There was a good friend of ours that came over. He was a relation. He was from Melbourne, and he was affectionately known as Aussie Dave. Right? He came over for a wee holiday to Coatbridge to visit his cousins, and he stayed for about 13 years. Right? Now he was always known as Aussie Dave. And he went on, he was a great guy. We went on various things together, and there was one time we went to a mate's stag weekend over in Ireland, and Aussie Dave came with us, and we had this little competition. We were in this pub in Ireland, and we were having a few drinks and things, and I don't even know how we thought of this, but we came up with this little game, which was basically Dave had to say something with a Scottish accent, as did his other Aussie pal that was over at the time as well. There was a couple of Irish people in the country. They had to say something in a Scottish accent, blah, blah, blah. We had to say something in an Irish accent, blah, blah, blah. And then it came to the Aussie thing, right? Now, the only word that I can say, or the only sound that I can say that is slightly Australian is the word or the sound of home or dome. Right? Now, the way I would say that, and this is the only thing I can say, so please judge me here, Pre.
Yeah.
So something along the lines of let's go home, right? Let's go home. I would say, in my best Australian accent, let's go home. Now, how's that, mate?
That's actually, if I was like one of the judges at the swimming with the, you hold up the numbers, I'd give you a 9.3 on that.
Surely not, mate.
Absolutely.
9.3 out of what?
That's all I can say. That is all I can say in an Aussie accent.
Yeah, because Home is like foam.
Yes, or down.
Yeah, and down.
Let's eat at the down.
Yeah, that's good. That is fucking good.
Oh, Pre, yeah, you're a gentleman and a scholar, and you know you're always welcome on this show. Anytime you want.
Well, no, you've won me over. That's good. I like that. That works.
There you are, Pat.
Yeah, Kev, I'm just going to tell you, Kev. Like you're the one that's meant to get this show over in an hour and a half. You've kind of went off track a wee bit.
We're not just bad. An hour and 42-ish.
It's 100 minutes, yeah, 100 minutes, yeah. So
we're actually going quite well.
We haven't finished yet. Get a move on. Come on, people are complaining on Twitter.
I mean, there's nothing much more to talk. We've talked about the cup final. We've talked about where we're watching it all. Well, have we all talked about where we're watching? Yes, we have. We've covered off the scorelines. We've covered off the humpings. I think we're pretty much there.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for calling in. That's.
What I do have is a few more tweets, and I do want to read out the tweets because I like to give the mentions to the people that take the time to tweet us in when it's live, because it's a nice touch, that I must admit.
Oh, some of these are quite strong, Kev. I don't know if you want to read some of these out. They're not happy. The people aren't happy.
Jim Kinlan, this was 47 minutes ago. Jim said, your wee brother's a legend, Kev. That's obviously in reference to my wee brother John giving me Seville ticket for the cup final. Fair play to the wee man. Thanks, Jim, for that tweet. Craig, who is a good regular contributor of the show as well, says, the day of Seville, I went to school with green spray, painted hair and a sombrero. Got marched out my first class for singing. Fair play to you, Craig. That's all good. Oh, wait a minute. He's followed up with another tweet for singing the Celtic song. So that's all good. We like that. Jim Kinlan tweets back in saying, well said, Gary. Me mentioned for you, mate. Fans will be remembered for very different reasons by the residents of Seville and Manchester. So that's obviously in reference to your point you made earlier on, Gary. And it was a very good point, actually, about how we all remember that. And when you put it into context, we've all got very fond memories of that Seville season, but we actually won nothing that season, whereas the baddies did their treble. But I think to take up Jim's point, the residents of Seville and Manchester will have very, very different memories of what happened in their respective cities when the green half and the blue shitey half visited. Tom Docherty tweets in to say, I remember Yeovil Town wearing the hoops in the 80s. Martin Heaney says, I'll go to sleep for a few hours and maybe catch you for the last half hour. Just woke up. What's that? What are you talking about, Martin? I don't understand that one. We've had a Yeovil Town fan tweet in as well, Mike West. Now, he might be a mate of yours, potentially, Gary. But he's saying we didn't wear hoops until 2003 when we joined the league. So there you go. So that was 2000.
It was that same year then, yeah.
Into Seville. So whether or not there is a Seville connection or whether or not it was complete coincidence, but we don't know. But yeah, fond memories of Yeovil anyway. Now, Craig has tweeted us in again with keeping on the theme, I suppose, of the cup final. We've given our predictions for the scoreline and things like that as well, but we haven't really talked much about what we think the lineup's going to be like. Now, obviously, Victor Wanyama's suspended, I believe, as is Kayal, so they're not going to play a part at all in the middle of the park. Now, Craig has tweeted us in with what he thinks the lineup's going to be, so I'll read this out and then you can give me your thoughts, folks, that are on the panel here. So, Craig goes for in goals. I suppose it's a fairly easy choice for Fraser Forster. Then he's got at right back Lustig. Then the two centre halves, he's got Effie Ambrose, Kelvin Wilson. Left back, he's got Izagirre. Just playing in front of them, he's got Charlie Farley Mulgrew. Then he's got a kind of three-man midfield of Commons on the right-hand side, Brown right in the middle, Joe Ledley just to the left of that kind of midfield three. And then he's got Stokes and Hooper up front. Stokes just settled in behind Hooper a little bit. So he's kind of went for a bit of a 5-3-2 but it could be a kind of 4-4-2, I suppose, as well, as you look at it. So I suppose if you've listened to that little lineup that Craig has went for, I'll come round you all and give your thoughts on it, folks, or if you can think of any changes or who your preferred lineup would be. I'll come at you first, Pat.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think from what I saw during the week, I can't remember if it was on Celtic TV, but they said that Mulgrew, Forrest and Matthews weren't actually trained. They hadn't trained with the team all week. So, because of injury, I think Mulgrew might be a bit, a bit sort of, I'm not sure injury prone or not, but I think he's just, whether he actually makes that spot, I don't know. I thought Forrest, I try and sort of get him in there somewhere. I think the team plays differently when he's there, but again, it's one of those things. Who do you drop? You couldn't drop Brown and Ledley at the moment, the form they're in. Commons coming back, just too important to the team. And even you're talking Samaras as well. Does he sort of slip into the team at any stage as well? So it's good. I mean, it's good for us in the fact there's competition for all those spots. But yeah, it's a fairly good team he picked. I think if Forrest is fit, I reckon they'll somehow try and fit him into the team. Maybe at the expense of maybe Stokes, I don't know. But again, same thing. Samaras, if you want Samaras in the team, again, Stokes seems to be the favourite one that would drop out in that sort of regard. So, but yeah, look, a fairly solid. I just picked up the picture there that Craig sent through. So, but yeah, I think it's a fairly good team. I think probably I said the questions would be Samaras and Forrest.
No, that's fair comment. What about yourself, madam? Any thoughts on that team that Craig put through to us, or any thoughts on your own lineup, or who you'd like to see starting the game?
Well, I always like to see Berham starting the game because he's gorgeous, but he's not there. So definitely Sammy. I want Sammy there, and I like Sammy as captain, and I think he's just the best things in sliced bread. Commons, Stokesy, Ledley. That's who I'd have. I don't.
No defence at all. Just get them all up on.
Well, of course I had Charlie, but his hair's been quite bad in a couple of matches I saw. He needs sorted it. But yeah, if he's on form, he's had a few, and he seems to be coming back on form. He's had a few scary matches, but the last couple of matches he's been sort of all right. So he's all right. But yeah, no, I want goals. I want Sammy. I want Stokesy, Commons. If Forrest is on form, he's a brilliant wee player because he can run and turn. I don't want to see Paddy McCourt, and I hope we punt him because he's rotten.
Paddy.
There'll be a riot. There will be a riot.
Everybody's rioting just now. It's everything. So I'm trying to think Deadly Ledley. You've got to have a bit of Joe. I think since he's come back from injury, he's been really good. He comes back from injury really, really quickly as well. Some of them it takes a while. It's taking a while for him to get back to form. I'm not a big fan of Bruni, so yeah, whatever.
Dear, how can you not be a fan of Bruni?
There you go.
No, that's
I was drinking with him when he was in Sydney, and I just think he's, nah.
Was he not nice
I could find better people to go.
Was he not nice to you? Bad memories?
I had my John Thompson. I was ignoring Bruni. He's not that much fun.
Well, I think you should tweet him about that and see what he comes back with. Right, thanks for your opinion there, madam. We'll come on to you now, Pre, if that's all right. What would be? Have you got any strong views either way on a kind of lineup you'd like to see on Sunday?
I kind of agree with the guy that tweeted in the formation that they suggested. I just wonder if there's any space for Andy Payton or Stuart Slater or Gary Gillespie to fit into this team as well. I think Ian Andrews has has really staked a claim to be in between.
You're showing your age here, Pre.
In between the sticks, I think he's had a good season, and I just don't understand why he gets overlooked, game after game.
Jesus. I don't really know how I can follow that up. And do you know what? I'll tell you something. I'll see Andy Payton. Much as it was a bit of a farcical signing at the time, just as he was kind of going, he was actually coming on to a wee bit of form for us. Actually, he was actually doing not too bad, and he was banging a few goals in. Andy Payton. But yes, Ian Andrews, Jesus, wept. One of the worst keepers ever to don the hoops, or the goalkeeper's jersey for the hoops anyway, that's for sure. Look, you brought a few memories flooding back there, Pre.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't think they're good memories, though.
No, I remember being very excited going into Glasgow for the Gary Gillespie debut.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, the parkhead was packed out that day to see Gary Gillespie, some signing from Liverpool signing for us. It was, Jesus, gives me a shiver.
I remember when we signed Stuart Slater as well, when it was Liam Brady had said, this is the type of guy that'll put bums on seats.
Yeah,
I remember the Celtic View kept doing, because he hadn't scored a goal for fucking, well, I don't know how many goals the wee man actually ever scored, but he hadn't scored for a long, long time. He wasn't an out-and-out striker anyway, the wee guy, but they just kept going on about how many assists he had, and that's how bad somebody is when you sign somebody and they try to say, that's all right if you're a basketball player or something, but to say, Stuart Slater, he's a bum on seat man, and he'll get you X amount of assists a season.
But didn't the board take that whole the literal meaning of bums on seats to the extent they started actually drilling seats into the floors of the jungle to prove the point, and at some point they're going to start drilling supporters into those seats that they're drilling into the floors of the jungle as well at the same time.
They did that in the old jungle. In fact, that was another anniversary not so long ago as well, the Jungle's last stand, which I remember well. When we played Dundee, I think it was the Jungle's last stand. But
that was shocking. That was dreadful. That was the board's
seats in the old jungle.
That was the board's way of getting around the all-seated stadium. We won't build a stand. We'll just get some seats and plank them in the middle of the jungle. It was absolutely shocking.
They literally
I remember those seats that time, and I used to think then it was the same seats today. But obviously, being a wee boy, you know, in the big stadium, you think that was obviously not the case. But I remember the seats in the jungle.
Mm-hmm. And it was shocking what they did to it, though. Shocking what they did.
Mm-hmm. Right, Pre, did you give us your real formation? Do you really want Gary Gillespie coming out of retirement?
And Martin Hayes.
Marty boy. Hey, big hazy fantasy. Fantastic. Now we're talking.
I've still got the front page of the Celtic View when he signed. And I thought that all my Christmases had come at once. And little did I know that was the start of the dark years of following that football team.
You've just given me another memory there. When we used to go over, when it was pre-season, Celtic used to train at Strathclyde Park. They used to go down there and do a bit of training at Strathclyde Park. So it was always obviously during the school summer holidays over in Scotland at the time. So we used to go over to Strathclyde Park just to catch a glimpse of them training and stuff like that. And I remember we were watching them train, and it was Martin Hayes had just signed and things like that. And I mean, he was a player that you'd heard of from Arsenal and things like that. Albeit he was kind of periphery and fringe player, but certainly heard of the guy, and you thought this could be a good signing. And we were kind of following them down as you did. It was just that kind of way. Good luck for the season, Martin. And he just shakes the hand and all that stuff, and you think, that's brilliant. Just shook Martin Hayes' hand. And then I think we had a game that midweek. It was something like a League Cup bloody first round game or something like this when it was like early in the season. And Martin Hayes was playing. It was over at Douglas Park, Hamilton. And he had a fucking nightmare. He was absolutely garbage. I thought, here's what we've got. Here's what we've got to look forward to with Martin Hayes.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. I've really got to go. I've got an appointment in a second, so I just want to say thanks for taking my call.
Not a problem, Gary.
Just on the formation, I would like to see Forrest in the midfield somewhere, but that would mean Commons would have to be on the left, in the left flank, rather on the right if Forrest is fit. But I don't know who I would drop. Maybe Stoke. Maybe I would like to think we can drop Hooper for a change with this one.
Yeah,
because I don't rate him myself. As a striker. But anyway, that's my point.
No, it's a tricky one. But listen, Gary, thanks for your contribution tonight, and thanks for taking the time to dial in, mate. It's good to hear from you again, and hopefully we'll hear from you again on the show soon.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy the game. Have a good weekend.
You too, Gary. All the best. Yes, Pre, you were going to say something there again about Martin Hayes.
No, I think you've done enough. That was... I don't think you can come back from that.
It was just one of those... Yeah, as I keep saying, I've got really bad memory about certain things, but there's other bloody vivid memories that just stick in my mind when I get a reminder about something, and that was one of them.
During the dark, I don't want to go on too much about it, but during the shit years, I remember my sister moved to Tokyo and was teaching English in Japan, and my mum and dad kind of sent me to Japan for the school holidays over the Christmas period. So I was there for like 3 months, and the only way I could get the scores was through the Japan Times, which was the only English-speaking paper in the whole of Japan. Okay. And I remember. And I was like 15, 16, and I remember getting the papers every Monday morning, like dying for them to arrive. It came sort of late, sort of Monday afternoon, and opening it up and just going quickly flicking through the sports pages amongst all the Japanese baseball and everything else, and then getting finally to the Scottish football scores and looking and just going, Air United, fuck.
Oh, yes, the dark ages, right enough. I mean, how bad did that feel when you were kind of so far removed from it anyway at that time? Did it still hit hard, Pre?
It did. I remember Dad just trying to make me feel better about it and say, "Well, at least you're not over there right now." And I'd be going, "Well, it's not helping much because you've made me support this football club. You've told me it's been fucking brilliant, and now all I'm watching is and like because in the early days in the '80s, videotapes would get sent over, and then all of a sudden those tapes started to dry up." And not a lot of stuff was getting sent over. And all of a sudden, we're getting excited about us winning the 10 and 6s kind of tournaments and stuff. And I went, this is shit.
The 10 and 6s, which was, I think quite a few people commented that must have been what it was like for Sevco winning the Scottish Third Division title a few weeks ago. That's the excitement level that we had at the time as well, I think. Yeah, lifting the 10 and 6s trophy.
Yeah, it's pretty much when Ben Affleck made Pearl Harbor. Like, it's the bottoming out of a career. And thank fuck we turned around and,
absolutely.
Here today. Sorry, I didn't realise I shouldn't swear. See, on the Brewell podcast, we swear a lot, and I apologise.
I know. Do you know what? It's because as I said to Pat earlier, this is a family show, Pre, and you're bringing down the tone a bit. We'll need to have the explicit thing up simply because of your abusive language.
I do apologise, and I reckon actually I'm going to get cut off. I'm going to get a cut off in a minute. I've got like 1% left on my phone, so if I drop out, I do apologise. But it's been brilliant to talk to you guys, and if I don't talk to you beforehand, have a great cup final day / night.
Well, Pre, don't forget to give your show a plug on Saturday or Sunday night, whatever one you have.
In fact, listen, if you've got 1% left, you might as well do this now, because I was going to let you have a shot at the end, but give the Rebel podcast a bit of a shout out and a bit of a plug.
All right, God bless you. It was on Saturday, but now it's on Sunday. So the show, we're kicking off at 11 o'clock in the morning, Celtic Park time, which is what's that? That's 8. Is that 8 o'clock Melbourne time?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Right enough. Yep.
Yeah. So it's just me, Callum, Frank. I think we'll get Mum on, and it's our very first time we've ever done a live show. I have no idea how this is going to work. Please call in and give abuse to Callum because he has absolutely no concept of researching any of the sort of things we talk about. This is your opportunity to hold him to account, and we're looking forward to having a bit of a yak about football and stuff.
Good on you, Pre. Best of luck with the show anyway, and you never know, might even call in, mate.
That's crazy.
Might even call in. I'll need to see. I'll need to check my diary.
I love it. And best luck to you boys as well. It's great to see another podcast growing and going from strength to strength. So, it's a lot of fun.
Good on you, Pre. Thanks for that, mate.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Will do. Thanks, Pre. Hail, hail.
How.
And then there were 3.
I know. And I need to go because Sex and the City's just started.
Oh, God, is it? Right, we better wrap this up quick. I
know. And I've been listening, but I've been Googling as well, because you think it's me, but there's a problem with Skype and constant ringing. I've had constant ringing in my ear all through this, and it's an Android problem that I have to sort out. Because I'm still ringing. I've still got beep, and it's driving me nuts.
Well, listen, madam. Thank you very much for joining, because I wasn't sure if you were going to tonight, and then when I saw your tweet earlier on saying you'd lost your password, I thought, oh, here we go. There's the excuse coming in again. But no.
No, you're lucky, because I was to go and see Bobby Womack at the Opera House, and he cancelled. I swapped my ticket for tomorrow night, so you're really lucky.
We are. We're very fortunate to have you on. And as always, we love having you on, madam, as well. And please do keep looking out for us and join us again the next time, will you?
Oh, well, I need to upgrade to 2.1 something. I'm reading it just now because this ringing is driving me nuts. There's one day I'm just going to scream at somebody to shut up, and I think it's going to be one of yous. It probably would be one of yous, but it's the phone. It's like I've got to swap between ears as well. I'm not going to be able to hear. But lovely speaking to you. Let's do it for the final, and I'll speak to you soon.
Fingers crossed. Right, good on you, madam. Enjoy yourself on Sunday.
Yeah, you too. Right, cheerio.
Hail.
Bye.
Right, Patrick.
Yeah,
that's us
just
now.
us. No, there's definitely nobody listening now.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do before we kind of wrap it up then. I'll just finish off the shout-outs, because as I say, I do like having to go through the shout-outs, because they take the time to tweet in, so let's do it. In fact, is there anybody at all in the old chat room?
There's one or two there. Yeah, Jerry McMahon's there, Robert Henderson, Jim Kinlan's there, Jim Boy, and who else is one? Yeah, there's a few guys there.
Covering all bases. Have they asked any pertinent questions or made any pertinent comments or any abusive comments for that matter?
Well, thanks, Robert, for telling us that it's cold in Brisbane. Yeah, that's Gary was there. Yes, there's a few of them. But and also Robert mentioned the Aberdeen game. I think Madam, as you call her, was talking about there's been no fight in the team.
She calls herself when she's on the show, Pat. Come on, let's get real. That's what she calls herself.
I'm going to say her real name. I'm going to say her
Oh.
real name. That's it. One of these days, she's getting it. Right. So she was talking, I think, about the team having no fight, and she hadn't seen a comeback and stuff. But Robert mentioned the Aberdeen game when we did come back. Salmon asked in the last minute. So
yeah, that's true.
So yes,
that's a good call.
Yep. So that was basically it. There's nothing else on Twitter that I can see either. So yeah, I think we're close to wrapping up.
I think
we're still over 2 hours though.
Yeah, we've done not bad, but we're nowhere near the 3 hours, so it's not too bad. Colin Jordan tweeted in just saying that Craig's team that he put out, Craig had said that his team doesn't really leave a plan B, I believe, but Colin Jordan tweeted in saying shouldn't be needing a plan B, go out, get the job done, party time. That would be very, very nice. Jim Kinlan's just done an FFS tweet. Don't know what the FFS was referring to. I think it's when we were rambling about something or other. Irrelevant, probably. Then he says, I thought you were going to have a list of Aussie slang that everyone had to slip in tonight.
See, he's giving away a secret. That's definitely our next show. Cause,
right. Well, we can go with that. We can try it. It's not really a secret, but we'll see how we go. He says, F all to do with Celtic, mind you. Well, that's true, but it is a kind of half the world away show as well, Jim. So I'm sure our listeners can grant us a little bit of Aussiness when we do the show.
Jim is our listener. You're missing the point here. So he just downloads it 1,000 times.
I was going to say exactly. Now Gary Boy, who was on the call earlier on, Somerset Tim, he was tweeting as well. Fitbar and accents, bloody hell. LOL. Fair enough. Jim Kinlan.
Well, Greasy Boy as well, I don't know if you saw it. With Greasy Boy tweeting in as well, saying we should give Zaluska a game. Actually, we should have got Priya on the phone, because if you ever listen to the Rebel podcast, they have a problem with Zaluska's name. They call him Zaliuskas. Quite funny.
Zaliuskas?
Yeah. They do get a bit confused. So.
Which is the Hearts boy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe they're getting confused with there.
If he's still there, that is.
Yeah. So what's Greasy Boy saying? Nope, give Zaluska a game. Fraser Foster's leaving, so give Lucas a chance and Sammy will get a goal guaranteed. Madam tweeted back in to say, I signed off Skype and the phone was still ringing. Ha ha. So that's what the bloody ringing was all the time. Jesus wept. Pat, you're the man into the IT. You need to sort that lassie out, mate. And Jim, right at the end, what's your predictions? Well, Jim, if you didn't hear them by now, mate, you'll need to play the show back. We're not going over them again, me old China. We've already done the predictions. So, one final tweet, Craig. Enjoy the cup final, boys. We'll be sufficiently bladdered by 5 p.m. on Sunday. Absolutely buzzing. Come on the hoops. That's a nice way to sign off, I think, as far as the patter goes. Right, so Patrick, before we wrap it up, you have done another little great little outro again, and it's from our good friend again, courtesy of the Human Torpedo. He's from the archives. It's a nice little Scottish Cup final Human Torpedo contribution from Celtic, the Celtic Wiki. But is there anything, before you play that and play us out with that, is there anything else you'd like to say to wrap up, mate, other than what you've said about the game on Sunday?
No, just looking forward to the game. Should be a bit of fun. Again, anyone in Melbourne, Jockstein CSC, Punt Road, Pint on Punt pub, which is in Punt Road in Windsor. The guys will start rocking up fairly early, you'd think, so there's an area for us to watch the game. So again, same thing right across the country. If anyone's in Australia, New Zealand, anywhere listening to this, try and get out and support your supporters club. This is one of the few times you can actually sort of get out there and support the club for obviously with Sevco not being there, all that sort of stuff. So it's a good chance to support your supporters club. Another sort of shout to the guys at the Kano Foundation. I apologise, I still haven't done my donation, but I will make sure that tomorrow morning I will get online and do that. So yes, the Kano Foundation, this is for It's a Grand Old Team to See, so they're trying to get 1,000 Celtic fans to donate £1 a month, so that's still ongoing. Homeboys are still pushing it, and hopefully the guys from the other podcasts are as well. I think it's a brilliant cause, and I'll hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe be able to do something with the supporters club on Sunday, maybe try and see if we can just do a bit of whip round or something, but depending on how many beers I have, it's whether I remember that. So fingers crossed. It's an absolutely brilliant cause. The guys were on Homeboys on Monday again. They're really delighted with all the news and stuff, so it's a fantastic sort of campaign they're doing. So I think they've got people are donating pretty much enough money to buy a ticket for the year and stuff. I think I can't remember what the exact targets were, but they were sort of well underway to reaching that for the start of next season already. And obviously with Celtic reducing the price of kids' seats and all that sort of stuff back to the $50 one, is sort of good for them because it means they can sort of get more for the money.
Yeah.
And there was what was one other thing I was going to say, but completely slips my mind. Oh yeah, the link I sent you through, the Billy Connolly parody. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, Kev, but
I did. I saw it. It's the start of the little outro, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. We sort of sneaked it in there. Pretty funny if no one's actually seen it, but it's like this sort of little Billy Connolly parody. But I think it's pretty funny, and he does this. He does a few different things in Glasgow. If you go on, I think it's TV Tapas. I think it's listed as on YouTube. But he does all these things, look up Ashton Lane, and he does stuff on the Serengeti and all these sort of things. But it's quite amusing. So I think I sent it to Kev. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the world according to Billy or something like that. But
it's something like that. And I actually had it up on the laptop a wee while ago there, mate, but I've lost it and I don't want to spend time getting it up again. So, but that's what the first little bit of audio you'll hear in the outro is, folks. So it's quite funny. It's basically he's outside Baird's Bar, as you'll hear, and then he's having a bit of fun inside Baird's Bar, and then when you hear it go silent, that's when he's in the Loudon Tavern. And you'll get a picture after that. But I guess just before you play the outro part, I'd just like to give a bit of a plug as well for what's happening in good old Mandurah town in Western Australia. The Mandurah CSC will be meeting in Friar Tuck's for the first time in a few weeks for the Cup final. As I said earlier on, it's a 10 p.m. kick-off over here on Sunday night, which is to be honest, you can't sniff at it. It's quite a good, in some ways it's quite a good time. The only thing for me, as I said earlier on, is I've got work the next day, so hopefully it's done and dusted in 90 minutes. But yeah, if anybody's listening that's in the South Perth area, or round about Mandurah or the Peel region of Western Australia, and you happen to find yourself strolling around, get yourself along to Friar Tuck's in the Wannon-up area of Mandurah. You'll be made to feel most welcome. You can tweet the Mandurah CSC, which is at Mandurah, which is MANDURAH CSC, or you can tweet myself at KJP O'Neill 72 to get some information, and you'll be made more than welcome at Friar Tuck's. You'll get a little bit of free grub during the game. We'll have quaff a few pints. There'll be some music, Celtic music, and maybe a little bit of Irish rebellious music played as well. But the idea is we get down there fairly early, around about 7 p.m, start quaffing a few beers. Then we'll have the game at 10 o'clock, and we'll see how it goes after that. But come on down, try to come along if you can, because it should be a great night, and it is the Scottish Cup final after all. I know it's maybe lost its oomph or its meaning in recent times, but let's try to make it a great occasion again on Sunday. So yeah, shout out to everybody at the Mandurah CSC. My usual shout out to everybody back home in Coatbridge for the Inglebras CSC. Hope you all enjoy yourselves on Sunday, folks. And yeah, that's all from me. And I think we can play out now, Pat.
There was one final thing, was the thing for Chris McGugan on Lost Boys. So he's trying to do like a history of Celtic, and it's basically any sort of sound bites you can think of, in terms of your favourite games, favourite players, any sort of incidents that you sort of that come to mind. He's trying to do like a compilation from all over the world pretty much. So if you get in touch with Lost Boys there, if you want our help, if anyone's in Australia, just send us a tweet, so at halftheworld88, and we'll happily record it for you and send it through to Chris, all that sort of stuff. So it's a fairly big project that he's doing, so fingers crossed that it all works out. So if anybody wants to do it, then you can tweet Lost Boys, or you can go to hailhailmedia.com. I think it's on there as well. And also on the hailhailmedia.com you can get the stuff on Kano Foundation, how to make those donations. So fingers crossed that works out as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
All good then, Patrick, my good friend. Thanks again for all your audio work, mate, and hopefully anybody listening is going to enjoy the last wee bit you've arranged for us as well. Do you want to press the buttons now, mate?
Well, thank you very much. All right, so I'm not sure when we'll do the next show, Kev. I think we'll have a chat off air, and whether we do a season roundup or whether we basically wait until the start of next year, we'll have a chat. We will have a think about it, a discussion about it, and keep your eyes peeled for the tweets, folks, and we'll find out when we're back. But we'll definitely will be back, that's for sure, eh? All right, sounds good.
Good on you, Pat. Hail, hail, mate.
Thanks, mate. Good luck with the final. Cheers, boys.
Here we are at Spear's Bar down in the Gallagher. It's brilliant. A nice wee family bar. Everyone comes in here. It's all wholesome, good fun. Come on in. Let's party. Isn't this brilliant? Hello, hello, is it me you're looking for?
Celtic have long enjoyed a special relationship with the Scottish Cup. No club has won the old trophy as often as the boys. Indeed, it is perhaps only natural that a club of the humble origins of Celtic should do so well in a tournament which revels in the achievements of the underdog. While all Scottish Cup triumphs are special, some are unquestionably more so than others. Lifting a cup should always be a joyous occasion, but it's made all the sweeter when the ingredients for an eventual victory include a rousing comeback and a dramatic last-gasp goal. And when it comes to a cup final fight back, no one does it better than the boys. In 1904, Jimmy Quinn hat-trick against Rangers inspired the Souths to cup glory, as an early 2-0 deficit was dramatically converted into a famous 3-2 victory. Then in the final of 1925, Passy Gallagher with his famous somersault, Jimmy McGrory scored late goals as the Hoops came from behind to defeat Dundee 2-1. As scintillating and memorable as these games and goals were, in terms of sheer drama, none can compare with the events of Saturday, April 11, 1931. It was on this date, a crowd of over 104,000 gathered on the dusty, sun-kissed slopes of Hampden Park in anticipation of a classic final, as an impressive Motherwell team faced 12-time winners Celtic. The Lancashire side may have been playing in their first cup final, but they were most people's favourites to lift the silverware. While the Hoops had cup tradition on their side, it was the Steelmen, regarded as the best footballing team in Scotland, who were the form team. On a dry, quick and bumpy pitch, Motherwell settled quickly and, showing no signs of nerves, put the Souths under early pressure. Within just 6 minutes, they had taken the lead. A long-range shot had ricocheted off Celtic defender Peter McGonigal and into the path of Motherwell's Stevenson. Stevenson's well-hit drive deflected off Jimmy McStay's boot before nestling in the Celtic net. Boosted by that early strike, with the wind at their back, a confident Well pressed on. Time after time, their slick passing game cut through the Celtic defence. Several gilt-edged opportunities were missed before they deservedly doubled their lead in 20 minutes. After a double save from John Thompson, the Celtic defence could not clear their lines and the ball fell to McMenery, who finally netted with the help of another deflection off the unlucky McStay. As the first half neared completion, an out of sorts Celtic finally began to exert more pressure on the Motherwell defence. But it was the first time finalists who remained the most likely to score, thanks to some swift and incisive counter-attacks. When the second half got underway, Celtic had no option but to attack. In contrast, Motherwell, 2 goals to the good, were content to now play a containing game. The opening exchanges saw the Steelmen cope comfortably with Celtic's rather direct and subtle approach. The boys had so far failed to click, and they had hit nothing to prevent their opponents from taking the Scottish Cup for the first time. As the game wore on, Celtic became increasingly dominant, but they seemed to lack the creativity to break down the stubborn Well defence. But just as the match was entering its final stages, pressure at last caused some creaking in the Motherwell rearguard. The attractive football and assured defending of earlier was now replaced by desperate, long puddles out of play. The increasingly anxious favourites were also conceding free kicks at an alarmingly frequent rate. Encouraging as these signs were, a Celtic comeback remained unlikely. So much so that thousands of Motherwell fans left Hampden early to relay news of what they thought was a historic victory. With just 7 minutes left, Celtic won another free kick. Charlie Napier stood over the ball. With virtually everyone in the entire stadium expecting a shot on goal, Napier cleverly lobbed the delicate ball over the wall, where the onrushing McGrory stretched out his right leg and expertly guided the ball into the net. Brushing off the congratulations of his teammates, McGrory collected the ball from the back of the net. As he raced back to the centre circle, the inspiration of centre forward pointed up to the clock on the Hampden terracing. There was still time, there was still hope. Roared on by a rejuvenated support, Celtic stormed forward. The earlier assurance and confidence of the Well defence was now replaced by sheer panic. With the match entering its final seconds, a long clearance made it all the way back to John Thompson. Keeper Garrett and his kick found Bertie Thompson out on the right wing. After beating 2 men, he sent a swirling high ball into the goal mouth. With McCrory poised to pounce, Motherwell centre-half Colin Craig leaped high to challenge. But his attempted clearance saw the ball glance off his forehead, past the outcoming keeper and into the roof of the net. There had been just 3 seconds remaining. An inconsolable Craig was left in tears. The Celtic support was jubilant. Their team had not only clinched a replay, they had reiterated in the most dramatic fashion the club's never say die attitude. Celtic would deservedly win an entertaining replay 4-2, and the magic of 1931 would return with the club to Hampden many years later. In 1985, Frank McGarvey's late header kept a stunning fight back and sealed a 2-1 victory over Dundee United in the 100th Scottish Cup final. Just 3 years later, United were again the victims, as Frank McAvenny hit a brace, including a last-minute winner, as the Hoops fought back to seal another 2-1 triumph and a double for the club in less than 2 years. The Celtic tradition of playing until the final whistle has never been more clearly and gloriously illustrated than on these Hampden occasions. Indeed, nothing sums up the traditional fighting spirit of the boys better than the image of determined McCrory running back to the centre circle and pointing up to the Hampden clock. While the clock is long gone, Celtic fans hope the spirit of 1931 will always remain.
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around